Welcome to another live stream edition of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeff.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Conrad.
Excuse me, I just spat my teeth.
Oh, wow. That got us off to a good start.
Well done. Delay here.
Yeah, you've got some lag there, Conrad. We'll see how well that settles down. Hopefully it'll work itself out soon.
I definitely have some lag here in the UK.
Okay. Well,
no, maybe because I'm on the other side of the planet.
Yeah. This will be fun. All right. So tonight, as always, it's in case you can't tell, it's our last stream before Halloween. It's as close as we're going to get. So people have gone and done some things. People have gone and gotten dressed up. I couldn't, unfortunately. I don't know time today. I'll get to that in a second. But yes, we've had some fun here. The set looks different. It's all good. And we're excited to get stuck into this last stream before Halloween. Tonight we're going to go through, we're going to start off a new series of King of the Riff. This time it's all about debut albums, which is going to be Machine Head's Burn My Eyes going up against Boston's Self-Titled. It's a weird battle, I know, but that's where the audience polling ranked things out. Going to go through Songs of the Week as always. Going to pick our albums from 1983. We've got a new game coming up tonight as well, which is Dave's idea. So have some fun with this sort of stuff. There are reference tracks to everything we're talking about tonight in the description box of this one or the post with us. So go and hit those as we go through. We'll put them in the chat as we go through, but in case you're tuning in later on via video or audio, yeah, you can go and find those links there. While you're doing that sort of stuff, give us a like, a follow. That'd be greatly appreciated. To hit the subscribe button if you want to. Anything like that always helps us out. And speaking of helping us out, a big thank you. If you could please check out our Patreon page for more information. We just had to chip in a little bit, as little as you want. You can set up your own ratio, actually, your own rate too if you want to. But anyway, yeah, just anything you do to help us there will allow us to get more done here behind the scenes. But we have a lot to get through as always, but it is the fun time of year. So let's do the rounds and let's see. How is your week going, Dave?
I'm good. Live by night, sleep by dawn, drink blood. It's fun. Apart from that, in my normal existence, things are good. Watched Die Hard with Jade on Friday. She loved it. First time she's seen it. The little girl's just like me, but seeing Die Hard through her eyes for the first time was fantastic. Like when he's about to jump off the building, he's got the thing wrapped around. She's like, "What's he doing?" I'm like, "Just watch. This is awesome." Yeah. So, I'm expecting she's told all of her friends, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," because that's exactly what I did when I was her age. Actually, a bit younger. Apart from that, I watched a movie on Netflix called Pearl, which was pretty cool. Some cool murders in that, if you like that stuff. And yeah, yesterday I broke a tooth. Not one of my fake vampire teeth, an actual tooth. During a Wednesday, the boss buys us all lunch, so it's like oh shit, just dropped a tooth. Find that later. I've got it. Gonna be losing teeth all over the place. Fucking hell. But fucking teeth this week. So yeah, we had KFC and I broke a fucking tooth on a bone.
Ouch.
I already had one of the molars up the back. Like shit, the entire side broke off. So went to some emergency dentistry and yeah, it's all patched up and couldn't tell the difference. It's all nice and great, which is cool. And the highlight of my day is Portnoy's back in Dream Theater. I'm sure everyone else is excited. But yeah, when you sent that message through this morning, my heart sunk because I'm like, oh fuck, not a gig. Dream Theater aren't coming. I can't go to everything else that's coming. But yeah, fucking broke. But yeah, Portnoy's back after 13 years. But I'm surprised I'm not more excited than I should be because I was gutted when he left. But this will make me more excited for a new Dream Theater album because the last one was good, but the wow factor's gone. So now that Portnoy's back, going to get some Portnoy lyrics, going to get some Portnoy production and direction and pedantic stuff that he puts in. So not just his drumming, his singing as well. So I'm excited. So, how are you, Jeff?
Yeah,
Black Dot. Dot.
Oh, sorry.
I'm good. Can you see me?
Yes, you're coming through.
Okay. Well, I'm good. I'm on my weekend, so Thursday and Friday this week, so I'm having a blast. And it's just pretty good. Just like you, Dave, and anyone else.
Did you break a tooth?
No, I didn't break a tooth. But the Mike Portnoy thing, I thought it's not April Fool's. What the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And then I went and searched on that. I'm like, holy shit!
It's everywhere. They all put it up.
I was blown away. And I must say, I love Mike Portnoy. He's probably my favorite living drummer. But I really feel bad for Mike Mangini because, when you watch when they did the Find a Band thing back in I think it was Discovery Channel did it. They did the auditions. It's 3 parts. You can watch them on YouTube. Yeah. And great, and he was like, this is like obviously a dream.
Hi, Conrad.
He'll be back. I think he's just fixing a lag.
Yeah.
Morning, Wade.
And dream gig for him, and there's no question, 13 years. He was probably thinking he was in there for life, and now he's out on his ass.
There was always a possibility Portnoy would come back.
Yeah,
It's his home.
I know, but it's just like there was that possibility because he was still alive, but I don't think anyone actually thought it was going to happen.
I had my doubts. Yeah,
I did. I was expecting it, especially a couple. Fucking teeth. Especially a couple of years ago when Portnoy went to see a Dream Theater concert for the first time in his life. He posted it just like, I got to see my first Dream Theater concert. And he was backstage hanging out with all the members. So there was good blood. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, I knew there was good blood. I mean, what's Petrucci and him have worked together since.
Yeah, they've been friends for years.
So, and they've been friends. They've all been friends. But look, this morning, I was happy, but I was also sad.
Yeah, I get that. Virginia was good. But I don't know if it'll be the same. I don't think they'll be doing like different set list every night and playing 3 hours like they used to. I don't think Portnoy will be as much of a dictator as he used to be. Plus, they're getting older.
They're getting older.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's why there was some problems between him and LeBray because Portnoy he'd keep diaries of what set list they played in each town and then wouldn't play those songs the next time they went through. So they had to have every song in their catalog ready to go. Which they're not exactly AC/DC songs. They're quite fucking complex. So there was a lot to ask.
This is true. Anyway, that's it for me. But Belle, Vampirus, how have you been?
I've been great. I don't give a fuck about Dream Theater, so I'm not going to talk about that. That's cool with everyone.
That's fine.
It's great.
Look, it's been a pretty crazy week down here in Tassie, actually. Weather-wise, we had a really bad storm on Saturday night, like lightning, thunder, took out my power for pretty much all of Sunday. So that was not very cool, but we got
Get the hamster going.
Yeah, the hamster's dead. So unfortunately, we don't have that option anymore. No, the dog ate it.
So there's a guy at my work who wants to eat a guinea pig. He's been talking about it for weeks. Apparently it's legal. He just has to find a place to buy one from.
Okay. I know you do in South
Okay,
Asia and that.
I have a lot of questions, but I probably don't want answers to them, so we'll just move on.
Good point.
Wow. Okay, that's really random.
Google felting. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, I didn't even go there, dude. I know things are different in Canada, man, but fuck, we're in Australia.
Don't Google that.
Oh God, he's bald when you can't see him.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it really
Look, we had another friggin' crazy storm on Tuesday night, which sent debris everywhere. On Wednesday, like it was pretty bad. It was worse than the Saturday night storm. Things got smashed. People's cars got, trees land on them, and that was a bit full on. So nothing, affected me, which was good. But yeah, driving Ellis to the bus stop on Wednesday, it's like running a gauntlet, like driving around branches and stuff all over the road. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I don't know, pretty uneventful. Public holiday today in Hobart.
Yes. Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it was good. Kept busy though, writing all these notes for tonight.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad I had today to do that because I always leave it to the last minute. But that's my fault. So yeah, I didn't read through them, so hopefully they make sense.
We'll find out in due course, won't we?
This is going to be fun.
It'll be fun finding out. Yes.
Yes, we'll all find out together, including you.
Yeah. Good times. All right, Conrad, how's your week been?
Just chasing up housing, just having a look at housing and shit. Getting that sorted has been still an ongoing battle, so it's a bit stressful at the moment. I've got a lot going on. I've got some rock clubs this week, DJing tomorrow night. I'm going to the Dead South tomorrow night. I'm also off to the 69 Eyes and a rock club, and I got a DJ after that as well on the weekend.
I would love to see that band.
There's a lot happening. A lot happening. Sorry about the lag here. I'm on the other side of the world, people, so it might be a bit of a lag.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to get really busy very soon, and hopefully some job prospects as well, and maybe get out of this place soon as well. That'd be nice. Cool. But very busy. I went to that War of the Worlds immersive experience.
How was it?
I've got to say, it was one of the most amazing. I can't describe it to anything else I've ever experienced because it is unlike anything else you will ever experience. It's just, it's like a live action play that you're in. You're actually in the play itself. You have people take you through different rooms, or actors that take you through all these different rooms, and they somebody else takes you through different stages of it. You have different people taking you through different stages, and there's different rooms in it. Each scene, there's scene changes in different rooms. So it's real. And then there's like virtual reality in it as well. There's like three virtual reality segments of it. So yeah, you've got three different virtual reality scenes. They're very intense, and then you have but you're immersed in a scene within itself. So you're in a scene, and then you put those on, and then you're running through all these different corridors and different rooms. It's just insane, and the actors take you through each room and each stage, and it's really intense. Some people lose their shit in it. Some people freak out because they can't handle it, and I can understand how that could happen. Because there was a couple of times where I was pretty frightened, actually. I was pretty scared. It was like, this is really intense. You have aliens grabbing you. Well, they're claws.
Yeah.
You think they're aliens grabbing you, but it's actors actually grabbing you. But you're in virtual reality, but you're feeling people grabbing you. And there's that scene in where they do Thunderchild, the song Thunderchild. You're actually out on the Thames. You're in these boats. You sit in these boats, and the boats move. But you're in virtual reality. The boats move, but you see the Parliament, Houses of Parliament, and Big Ben, and it just gets obliterated by the Martian tripods. But you're in the battle. You're right there in amongst it. It's like you're going through the legs of the tripods. It's all happening.
That sounds so cool.
Around
you.
Wow.
It's just nuts. It's insane. And then you'd see the Thunderchild right next to you. You're in a boat right next to it all. So the battles, you're actually immersed in them. It's really intense. I can't describe it to anything else. And then there's a bar halfway through. You walk into this bar halfway through it, and you get like 15 minutes intermission.
Okay, cool.
Which is really cool. Really cool. And then you go off into another stage. There's lots of stages of it. Different, as I said, there's different rooms. There's different scenes that you go through with the actors. They take you through, guide you through it. So, and you actually become part of it all. The idea is to basically survive the Martian attack. It's very intensive. You're in hot air balloons at one point, and it feels like you're actually in a hot air balloon going up into the sky. It's really intensive. So if you ever come to London, please, anybody watching, go to the War of the Worlds immersive experience. It'll blow your fucking mind.
That sounds great. Great. How long does it go for?
2 hours. It's
cool.
It's a fairly long. I mean, we went in. There's a whole bar. I'll send you some pictures. There's a whole bar restaurant kind of area that you walk into when you get there. You sit down, you have a drink and maybe a meal, and then you go through. The whole thing's been purpose built. It's actually like a gutted building that it's a big fancy building too. It's like an old building. So it's in and they've basically, this thing is purposely built for it. So not the building itself, the building was a shell, but they've put in all the rooms, they've put in all the lighting, they've built all the different rooms that you go through. So the whole thing's been designed and actually purposely made. It's not like they've come in and fitted out another place and used what was already pre-existing. What they've done is built it in an empty shell of a building. So it must be fucking huge. The building's huge. Wow. There's a lot of rooms I go through, an awful lot of rooms. Yeah. You're in the trenches in the First World War. You're in the trenches, running through the trenches and ducking bullets, and you go through like holes in walls people pull cabinet. You end up pulling a cabinet away and running through a hole in the wall, and you go down a slide, and it's there's a lot going on in it. And as I said, it's like the whole experience takes about 2 hours.
Cool.
You come out of it. You come out of it pretty mentally and emotionally quite exhausted, because it's a real bombardment on the senses. I actually, well, there's a couple of points I was pretty frightened, actually. Definitely. So, yeah. Cool. Thoroughly recommend it. If you ever come to London, I'll take you guys, by all means.
Yeah, absolutely. If I get there, fuck yeah, I'll go and do that, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, what have I got? Gigs coming up? Dead South tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. And some DJing, some clubs this week. That'll be fun. So, yeah, bit going on. To our international viewers.
Yes.
Yeah. Or anybody in the UK or in Europe. Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry about the lag.
No, you're right. You're all good. It seems to have settled down quite a bit now, which is good. I think it's much better now than it was before. Before it was really noticeable. Now it's much tighter, which is cool.
I'm seeing it, but yeah, I can see the difference.
Yeah, it's working better from our end. So if you're able to ride it, then we're doing well. My week was pretty good, and then we got a nice big storm warning yesterday. So where Bell put up with a storm earlier in the week, now it's my turn tonight. So we spent today literally battening down the hatches, for lack of a better term, just getting everything secured, put away, because I'm not sure, but the predictions are that where we are, it's going to be like a nexus for like 3 different wind patterns to come through and really just go haywire and cause a whole lot of shit. We could get up to 20 mil of rain, and there could be up to 5 centimeter sized hailstone. So it was like, let's see what happens. So I've been just sort of getting everything prepped and ready to go for that tonight. I was expecting it to hit earlier today, so it's kind of good that it hasn't hit us yet, because we're here and doing this. But I'm waiting to see what's going to happen between now and the end of the stream. So, Dave, if it all goes pear-shaped, you're taking over. Just so you know.
I'll do my best. An eternity of practice.
Yeah, I know.
You have no faith in me, Belle. I could run things, I'm sure.
You're on the Aldi wine. That was my first thought. Like, oh shit, this could go.
Hey, as soon as Andrew drops out, within a minute, we're all doing shots.
Yeah, well, there we go. What happens? I'll watch it back later and laugh my ass off. Yeah. Around that, it's been an eventful week. Snakes have started coming up now. We had our first snake come through our camp here, which was fun the other day. Keeping the dog away from the snake was always interesting. So that snake with little green tree snakes, it wasn't too bad. Non-venomous kind, so we sort of got to go back up in the tree and up it went again. Had that going on. So what else? Well, I was doing editing and that for the networks, and that'll be my bin later on. There'll be some time with my bin later on, which will make sense. But yeah, that was a bit of fun over the last 24 hours as well. So been up and down. Everything's good, but it's like just those hurdles you don't expect sort of coming through at the wrong time. It's like, for fuck's sake, just give me 24 hours just to settle down. But it is what it is. Everything's good. It's just got to get through tonight and see what happens, because tomorrow it looks like to be sort of consistent, sort of rainy weather. Nicole, you'll be probably in the same sort of boat as me, actually, keeping an eye on the weather. Been some fires not far from here as well, so we had all sorts of stuff going on. We're all sort of watching for dry lightning strikes and that too, so it's a bit sort of fun and games, because everything, I don't know about you guys, but everything is just so tinder dry up here right now. So if one thing goes, it's just going to go boom. So just sort of waiting to see what happens over the next sort of 24 hours or so. But if it starts to rain nicely overnight, not too windy and stupid, then it'll be good, and it'll give the ground a nice big soak, which would be nice. It promotes new growth, which is the problem later on, but at least it'll dampen things down for now. But fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. So far, so good. The weather patterns seem to be missing us. So where they thought it'd converge, it hasn't happened. So it's sort of like missing us. But I'll see what happens between now and the end of the night. Let's go to the audience. Andrew's here. Good evening. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Same with Nicole. You'll be, like I said, you'll be here for the weather as well. Going right back to the start now. Rowan's here. Good to see you. And Michael's going, whoops, wrong stream. Okay.
We're a bit different this week.
Yeah, I know. We're a bit different this week. Adrian says, what's up, mates? We're all good. Hopefully you are as well. Michael's going, oh, hang on. Yeah, here we go. So evening all. Then Adrian's going, love the costume, Belle. So there we go. And Nicole's going, what a sexy
thank you.
I can't. I've contributed nothing.
Cheers,
so don't ask me at all for anything tonight. It's all everyone else. Everyone else has done a bang up
Sally.
job. I have nothing. Sally's gone. Hi, spooky heavy metal people. Good to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. Adrian's gone. Dave looks like a cool vampire. Dave does Halloween very, very well. And I have to say your costume's gotten better every year, to be honest.
I scared the crap out of Jay the other day when I tried this on. She had no idea. She'd never seen it. She was on her bed listening to Main Skin, doing research on her phone on each song. I just stood in the doorway and just went, ah. She's like,
Well, that'll do it, Dave.
And then I scared her today because I said I'm going to pick you up from high school dressed like this.
Oh, well, that's a different kind of scare. Yeah,
That's a different kind of scare.
that's a better kind of scare, actually. In a lot of
That's even more scary.
yeah, to a young girl, that is scary, but it's more fun for the adults.
That's a vampire. I'm a real vampire. Tell all your friends.
Darren's gone, what the fuck? Well, yeah, that's us tonight. Edge Crusher, evening all. Good to see you again as well. And Adrian said, Conrad looks like a cool biker. He's gone for the Eddie Munson look. We've gotten everything. But Eddie Munson, because of you.
Easy rider, man.
Hellfire
Gone out
Club.
to discover America.
Yeah. The Hellfire Club to be on there. And then Sally's gone, oh, wow, I just noticed Jeff. Jeff's one is going to be like a sneaky one tonight. It's going to be interesting. But Adrian's gone, is Jeff going to make a grand entrance?
It's
we'll see.
fantastic.
Yeah. Terry says, hi, guys. What do we got? Adrian says, my bad. Cool costume, Jeff. So there we go. Jeff, can you see out of that costume? Or can you see, Jeff? No? Not really? Okay. He's doing everything by ear. Vinny, of course. Vinny's gone, good evening, legends. Is that the Gimp from Pulp Fiction? Yeah, the techno version of it.
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
Adrian's having a good chuckle at Bell there, and Adrian's gone, I've been on the wagon for 4 days and I'm a mess. Well, there we go.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Cheers to that.
I know, right? Guys here as well. Good to see you over in Denmark, I believe, from memory. Greetings, Antipedal Rockers. Nice to see you again, as always. Same with Vinny. If Dave's taking over, we're doing horror movie streams, not safe work edition. Well, that will be fun.
Yes. Yes. Oh, we'll just stream. We'll just do a watch along with Deathgasm. It's the fucking best movie ever.
Here we go. And Nicole's going, yes,
Please.
for the weather stuff. Yeah, we're all on sort of weather watch up here up north, so it's a bit of a fun and games with the cycle. All right, we've done that. Let's move on, have some fun. We'll try and get through as much as we can tonight before shit does hit the fan in more ways than one. So while Conrad's rearranging his set, I'm going to throw him in the deep end here because we're going to go to his song of the week first in a predetermined random order. So in the description box, let's see who got through this one, because this was a very last-minute addition to the repertoire of things to do today, but it is
For a change?
actually, yeah, just for something different. It's a it's all good. It's a track from
Say
Melbourne
that every
band
week,
The Ugly
Conrad.
Kings. It's a track from Melbourne band The Ugly Kings. It's called Technodrone. It's in the comments in the description box, so make sure you go and check that out while you're doing it. Before we do, Nicole's gone, lots of rain here at the moment. Well, hopefully it's not doing any damage to you over there, so hopefully you're staying safe. Please look after yourselves, and thank you for the message again the other day when the fires were not far from us too. So also looking out for each other up here, which is good. So Nicole, stay safe. Yeah. If you need anything, let us know. But yeah, Ugly Kings, Technodrone is in the description box, in the comments. It is from the album Strange Times, released back in 2021. Now, Conrad usually is the one that dive into the archives and pull things out. So what made you go for this one this week? I know you're a big fan of the band, but was there a particular reason?
Just this one's not too old. It's a couple of years ago, which for me is modern.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yeah, I can't find. Well, I can't. I'll surprise you and find something current. I might do the new Rolling Stones record next week. We'll get something off the new Rolling Stones album.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Dave already got paid the new Judas Priest, so got beaten to that one. I love this band. I just think they're probably my favorite Melbourne band, if not my favorite Australian band for the last few years. These guys just smashed that. I think these guys are phenomenal. If you haven't had a chance to see these guys yet in and around Melbourne, please do go and see them because they will rock your balls off. They are signed to Napalm Records, which I love a lot of the stuff that's on Napalm, actually. Like Jeff likes the that label. What's that label?
Frontiers.
Sorry?
Frontiers.
Frontiers. He's a big fan of Frontiers. I'm a big fan of Napalm Records. I think they've got some great bands. And to see a band from Melbourne on Napalm is just phenomenal, and such a different band compared to some of the other stuff they've got in their
Definitely.
Catalogue of bands. I just think there's something about these guys. They've got a unique sound. You know, it's fans of Clutch will probably like these guys. There's something about them. I think that's quite unique, and I won't say totally original sounding, but I don't know. There is something definitely. There's a certain je ne sais quoi that they have that other bands just, you know, other bands don't have. It's hard to put your finger on what it is, but they do it well. I've never seen them do a shit show. Seen these guys probably about 10 times now, and just every time I see them, I'm always blown away. I always come away saying that's the best band in Melbourne, if not one of the best Australian bands out there. And I do hope these guys break through over here in Europe and get some decent supports with some big bands. You know, you need a really big band to take them out on tour over here and get those festival slots. And these guys will go places. I think these guys will do really well. Certainly do really well over here, and probably in America as well. Just with the right support slot, you just need that break. You know.
Yep.
Happened for Airborne, so if it can happen for Airborne, I believe it can happen for these guys. And I think these guys are a little bit more interesting than what Airborne are doing. I'm not taking that away from Airborne, because Airborne are a great live band, but these guys are also a phenomenal live band, just in a different way, and they've got something maybe a little bit more interesting going on. So that's my reason for my choice.
All right.
I hope other people like it too.
Well, let's find out, and let's start with Jeff. How'd you go with it?
I'll take
Jeff.
that as a no.
I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. If
All
Jeff's
right,
audio-
Conrad. This
Okay.
is more like it. You've redeemed yourself in spades. Not that you needed to, but purely in my eyes. And you can tell my eyes are there. This is high energy, straight ahead rock, reminiscent of the Queens of the Stone Age. Now, if their drummer was just a little bit tighter, they'd be a dead fucking ringer for them. But that's not really fair, because comparisons to, that band, and we all know Dave Grohl is a phenom. But truth be told, I really like these guys. And what's more, they didn't have to win me over with repeated listens. It was apparent as soon as I heard them that they meant business. And it seems that business is good. Hailing from Melbourne, why haven't I heard of these guys? Or if I have, I simply don't recall. So more shame me.
Please go see them. I
will. But these guys have a familiar sound that still retains a uniqueness that keeps them fresh.
Yep.
The singer reminded me of a blend of Jim Morrison, Glenn Danzig, and maybe just a pinch of Peter Steele thrown in there for good measure.
Yeah, I get that actually.
Yep.
Now you mention it.
It all culminates in a vocal style that, while isn't completely unique in the music world, it's done with enough style and flair to keep it refreshing, and I like it. It works. I also really like the no-nonsense, no-frills vibe that you get with this band, an economy of sound in their playing. They don't overdo it. They play exactly what they need to play for the song. So I listened to the song with headphones at first, and after that, I watched the video for my second helping. It was a simple video, but it didn't detract from the song. It was straight-ahead rock, just as I imagined it would be before I even saw them. So thank you, Conrad, for bringing these guys to my attention. And if this band has been showcased on the show before, I don't know if they have, but more evidence of my shame. A big thumbs up.
I have mentioned them before.
Yeah. Well, for mine, I've got the next cab off here. We've interviewed them on the show and followed them for quite a while. Actually, played a lot of their clips. A long-time fan of ours, Stephen Moore, bless his memory, kind of thing. He was a huge champion of these guys, and so we've been following this band closely for forever and a day. And what you said, Connor, about seeing them live is absolutely true. They're second to none. They're very different. What they do individually, like you could ask, you could make an argument that individually the individual pieces aren't doing anything quote unquote brand new, but it's the chemistry, the connection they have with each other that brings something unique to the fore. And it's almost like a crooning stoner metal rock kind of vibe. It's a really interesting band. These guys do their particular style of music, which is that sort of droning thing from the stoner rock side of things. But there's the vocals are what makes this band really jump out for mine. It's that crooning quality to it, but there's not many like this out there at all. You got, like I said, the fuzzy tones and vibe from the stoner rock world, but the energy, especially in this track, is much more like what Jeff was saying. It's much more just straight ahead hard rock. The use of space in the chorus gives extra impact to the vocals, and the lyrics are great there. And speaking of lyrics, these guys are fantastic storytellers in all of their songs. This song is no exception. If you go and see them live, listen to their albums, the songs from beginning to end, every single one, and the journey you go on from one song to the next and within the albums and seeing them live, you're always in for a hell of a treat. These guys are fantastic. In this song in particular, there's a little change up later on just to basically have the bass and the vocals, which accents those two things there. That was a really good touch there, and it helps you to understand why the emphasis is on the vocals. And when you hear them do, not in this case, but they do slower songs, and when you get those slower songs and those vocals really come to the fore then in that setting, and they work brilliantly in the more up-tempo stuff. When they come out in the slower stuff, there's a depth of quality to it. I know that Jeff mentioned a whole bunch of things there as well, but you could imagine like a more baritone version of sort of Chris Isaac in the vocal sort of approach to this going on as well, which is really cool. Like I said, this is a more rocked up one. They do everything from this sort of stuff. This is probably one of the more up-tempo songs for them, down to sort of slow, more croony stuff. But if this song gets your attention, there's a fair chance you're going to enjoy the rest of what this band has to offer, because these guys are fucking good. Yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot of love for these guys. I hope that, Conrad putting the spotlight on this puts people like Jeff and others that haven't been really aware of this band for whatever reason more onto them now, because these guys are fantastic. They're signed to a great label, and as has been said, fingers crossed things go well. Love them to bits. This is a no-brainer for me. This is a massive, massive thumbs up, so I'm very happy it got put forward. But now let's throw to Dave, because I know he knows the band well too.
Oh, yeah. So when Conrad put this in the chat this morning, my first reaction was, for fuck's sake, you know that we can't get shit done. You're lucky I clicked on the link because there was no preview. I saw, Ugly Kings. You're lucky I know this band. You're lucky I'm familiar with this song. I fucking love this band. I saw them at Cherry Bar opening for Massive before they even had a single out. Yeah. And it was the voice that drew. I was at the bar getting a drink, and that fucking voice just boomed out. Like, holy shit. I get right to the front. At the front for the entire set, and then I introduced myself to the band. Like, fucking love what you guys do. That was amazing. And I did phone interviews when we were doing the radio show back in the day. Yeah. But we've been following this band since the early days, and I just love seeing them getting bigger and bigger. They are an awesome band. I've seen them a bunch of times. The guitar tone is awesome. Nice warm fuzzy tone. The song has lots of energy, killer riffs, and a catchy groove, but they've got that in all their songs. So if you haven't heard them before and you like this song, definitely check out more, because it's pretty much what they're all about. And pretty much what you hear on record is what they create live. There's no studio trickery or anything. This is what this band sounds like. It's just honest band playing instruments, coming up with cool tunes. The chorus is a massive earworm. I like the dark feel in the verses and how it brightens for the chorus. They always shift the mood. And if you ever do get to see them live, the entire audience is just transfixed on the sound that this band is creating. This is an absolutely awesome band, and I'm so proud that they're from Melbourne. We have some fucking awesome bands right here, and they really, really need, as Conrad says, to get overseas and get on some festivals, because they certainly deserve it. They're all really cool guys as well. So write great songs, good people. Couldn't be more deserving band to get some success. They certainly deserve it.
Give a bit of a shout out too to Christos. If you see this one at any point, mate, love you to bits. Hopefully you're keeping well too. He's been fantastic from the beginning for us.
I ordered their first album on vinyl. He personally dropped it off at my house.
Yeah,
like, dude, you didn't have to do that, man. He fucking lives on the other side of the city, I think. So
that's good.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Special guy, that one. Yeah, no, he's a good egg. Alrighty, one to go. Belle, are you new to the band, and how'd you go?
I'm new to the band. I don't think I've heard of them, and didn't know they were a Melbourne band that Conrad sent through the link for.
Yep.
I wasn't particularly excited when Conrad sent through a link after last week, but let's not dwell on that. I was pleasantly surprised and relieved. Let's just say that this was really cool. Hadn't interesting moodiness about it. I like the way they kept switching up feels throughout. Feels, by feels I mean like rhythms.
Yeah.
I think that the drummer did just as great a job of adding interest to as what the guitarists are adding. He was on fire. Vocal melody was just right. Not playing around with melody too much, keeping things in a smallish range of notes. Really enhanced the moody vibe of the song, I thought. Like I had this song on repeat for about 5 times today just so I could kind of get it in my head when I was writing out these notes, and it didn't get boring. In fact, I liked it even more each time. So yeah, I don't know why I haven't heard of these guys, because I've been watching you guys for a while, so you know, surely in that time you've talked about them. I just haven't tuned in, but I'm tuned in now, so keen for more. Yep.
Nice.
Loved it. Thank you, Conrad.
Cool.
Well, just reiterating what Dave was saying earlier on about them live. Understand that when you go see them, the whole crowd is really into it. It's not one of those bands you go to where you see people, you know, you see some people standing around chatting and, you know, that kind of
they got the whole audience.
Not giving them full attention. Anywhere you go and watch these guys, the whole place is absolutely 100% into it. You know, just totally in the zone. You know, and that's the sign of a good band.
They know how to entertain, and they use groove incredibly well across their songs too, which translates great in a live setting for these
and
guys.
They know how to involve the audience too. They really know how to involve the audience with it as well. So it's really important to do. A lot of bands might be brilliant musicians and fantastic players, and you know everything, have great songs, but have zero fucking talent when it comes to interacting with the crowd. It's a lot.
It's a whole package,
It is, absolutely. So yeah, thank you.
No, welcome. Thank you.
Great pick this week, man.
Yeah,
great
and
pick.
that's why I'm glad that we've got, you know, Bell and Jeff in particular to discover this band. Like Dave and I are old hats for them, but you know, this is the whole point. If we get a few more people onto them, then hopefully they'll get a few more fans, and it'll help that, you know.
Hopefully some of our international viewers,
Yes, hopefully so. Well, speaking of audience, let's see what they have to say. Lee says, hopefully you've explored the Life of Agony catalogue this week. Well, I haven't had time. I don't know if anyone else has.
That. One song was enough.
Unreal.
Never going to happen.
Yeah,
fantastic. One was enough.
Sorry, Lee.
You're missing out.
But there was, hang on,
I don't
Conrad,
think
just for the record, there was a lot of defense for Conrad in the Discord chat as well. So even though Jeff is still disagreeing now,
No.
But
life is too short to listen to crap.
Anyway, man, family saying cool set tonight all. Thank you for that. I'm the lowest effort of us all, but everyone else has put in the great work there, so everyone deserves the credit there. Well done all around. Nicole says, I'm still wondering how they got signed to Napalm Records. It is a different band for that label, but I'm glad they got onto that one because Napalm are one of the more they'll stick with the band a bit longer than other ones will, if that makes sense. What do we got here? Lee says the Ugly Kings playing final show for the year at the Beast on the 25th of November. Like Conrad said, always a great show. So get on down, people, if you feel so inclined. Thank you for the hot tip there, Lee. And here we go. Adrian says, I think it's in Brunswick. I think it's in. Correct me, Lee, if I'm wrong. Yeah, if I'm wrong, correct me, Lee. But I think it's in Brunswick.
Wow.
Adrian says straightforward vocals remind me a bit of Danzig, so we get that there as well. The Danzig vibe is coming
Russell's way better than Danzig.
A much better singer, yeah. Don't listen to Danzig who does Elvis and put that to this comparison. This guy smokes Danzig in that regard. Vinny says, I'd love to see these guys live. Great pick, Conrad. So there we go. More love for it too. Andrew says, they sound like a mix of Queens of the Stone Age and Danzig. Cool sound. So we are getting that Danzig comparison though, which is nice. And Vinny's gone, not sure why, but watching Jeff talk with that mask on gives me anonymous vibe. So there we go. But Mick's here. Good to see you as well, buddy. Hey, all. I've seen the Ugly Kings twice. They're fantastic. Love their sound. You'd never heard anyone say a bad word about these guys in person or about their music. So there's something in that. They are uniformly or universally appealing, if that makes sense. All right. From one band that we've established now is pretty much universally appealing to one band over the years has been exceptionally divisive. And when Dave put his choice forward, my response in the chat was, "Are you feeling okay?" So without any further ado, Dave's pick of the week is the Night Flight Orchestra, The Sensation. This is the latest single from the Swedish band, released as a single a few months ago as a tribute to their late guitarist David Andersson. Now, Dave, your history with this band, you're like the last holdout of us. You're the one that's been holding off on anything and everything to do with Night Flight Orchestra. So I'm genuinely concerned if you're just trolling me at this point in time, or if there's something about this song that might have finally gotten you over the dark side, so to speak. So why'd you pick it? I want to know now.
You know that expression, somewhere there's a bullet with your name on it? You go, just get this the fuck out of the way. But if you remember a few months ago when we did the Voyager album, I realized that I probably would have hated that album a few months earlier this year, but I fucking love that album. So obviously my tastes have changed over this year. So around that time, I decided to check out this band, had any new music, and they did. So I've been holding on to this song since then. Before I continue, I'm going to bring everybody up to speed. We've had a long history of this band on the Hard Rock Show. Around 2015, 2016, both Dennis and Jimmy fucking lost their shit over this band, and then none of the rest of us could understand what the fuck the appeal was. But with each subsequent release, one by one, members of the panel dropped. They got Andrew, they got Nikki, they got Brendan, they got Tim. I was the last man standing. It was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and you all became pod people. And I swore that they wouldn't get me. But here we are in 2023. I can say this band still fucking sucks, and this song is terrible. No one says I have to like the song that I picked.
Wow.
There is plenty of great AOR bands out there, plenty of great synth-based bands inspired by the 80s, which is all cool. This band just comes across as a fucking piss take on the genre. I do not get the appeal, and I don't even know if they're for real. I've had this song as a backup for so long. However, my plan has kind of backfired because on continuous repeats listens, I got the chorus stuck in my head, so I completely fucked myself.
Cut that motherfucker.
And having the chorus stuck in my head makes this song too. It makes this song a lot more memorable than some songs I've heard in recent weeks. This is still better than Life on Agony. I have to give it that. So begrudgingly, even though I didn't want to, I give it 1, maybe 2.
Oh, wow.
Band still fucking sucks, so, but Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow. Dave's on the heel turn. Dave's on the bait and switch. So I was wondering if he was trolling me, and turns out he was. Alrighty.
I was. I fucked myself in the process.
Yeah, I know. That's probably the silver lining this for me. But Conrad,
man, you got to combine all the reviews that we've done of this band all together, because they're some of the funniest shit we've ever done.
Yeah, the funniest fucking crap we've done with this band. It's always been.
Sorry,
like
I like this. I thought it was quirky. Yep. I quite like the quirkiness of it. It reminded me of, I guess, like some AOR sort of stuff. It reminded me of Journey and Foreigner and you know, Toto. It had that kind of vibe to it. So I don't know. I quite enjoyed this. It was different, you know. So anything quirky is for me is good. I looking at the album cover or the artwork, I was expecting them to be like this heavy kind of priesty, thrashy kind of thing, you know. And then I saw them advertised. They're coming out to Australia, I thought. I remember, and I looked at it and thought, oh, this looks like this will be interesting, like some sort of heavy metal band. But then when I saw this clip, I was like, oh, okay, this is not what I thought it would be at all. And look, I'd go see it. I'd definitely go see it. I might not buy it, but I'd definitely go see it. And I do that. There are a lot of bands I'll happily go see and repeatedly will go see. I might not own it on album, but I'll quite happily go watch them several times, you know.
Yep.
I'm happy to do that. So, yeah. So this gets a thumbs up from me.
Nice. All right. Well, Dave, I'm going to rebut because, for fuck's sake, really, You had to go.
Man, just think back to your first review when we first heard this band. You hated
I
them too.
get it, Dave, but at the same time, I've been on the bandwagon a lot longer than I was off the bandwagon.
You're a odd person now. They got
so
you.
I'm going to fucking defend this shit. I love this band to bits now. Yes, I wasn't sold on the first album I heard. Jimmy and Dennis were fucking off the rails. It doesn't help when people build it up so much and nothing lives up to the hype that someone has made it, present to you for. So you're up against it from there. So the first album had that sort of going against it for me. I'm like, what are you two talking about? But since then, as we've gotten through it and you listen to it without that level of expectation, if you go in there with actually diminished expectations, you work out that the charm for these guys is just that they're a good, fun rock band.
They're not rock.
Yes, they are. Shut up, Dave. They're very upbeat. This one has a splash.
They want to be Duran Duran.
Oh, don't do that. Dave, with each argument, you're diminishing the level, the credibility of your argument. This one, I get the splash of pop because there's definitely a splash of pop to the music. For those that don't know, this is Bjorn's soul work doing the vocals on this too. It shows another completely wonderful side to his vocal showcase ability. But it's catchy, it's energetic. These guys are incredibly good at what they do. It's not going to be for everyone. I'm not going to sit here and say it is, but the melody and the harmony on this
really
is fantastic. Dave, I'm going to put you on mute.
I'll put my fangs in, then I know I can't talk.
While Bell's set's falling apart again, like last week.
Sorry, Andrew.
No, don't be. It's all good.
You're not sexually abusing a skeleton this week.
No, she's not dancing with it. I should get that footage from behind the scenes.
Oh, she's done it again.
All right, I'm good.
Hey, there we go.
I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah, just let it go, Belle. And next time it falls, just let it fall.
I can't help it.
I'll loop that for you.
Let the phone go.
The synth element for these guys is strong, which is again another thing that might put some people off. And even in the commentary, I know there will be people backing Dave in I haven't seen the comments yet, but I know there will be people backing Dave in going, these guys. There are some people these guys just don't hook, but these guys use synth tastefully, and the way it balances with the guitar is cool for mine. Like I said, it's just fun rock, not for everyone. I do get the ropes with the wrong ways, but they've got the right splash, the right bit of 80s about it, which I think is fun. I could imagine, Dave's going to hate me for this one, but I could imagine songs like this taking a scene in things like Stranger Things. I think it would work.
No.
Yes, Dave.
No.
The song builds to a nice crescendo at the end. The little solo is nice touch. The mix on this, their sonics are glorious. And this is one of those things where, yes, it has been a case of every domino has sort of fallen over, and this is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I'm going to be the one fucking screaming and David pointing and But
you're in danger.
Yeah. But look, if this band does get the hooks in you never look back from there. I think the video is fun as well. You know, stick it to the old bastard. The girl smokes her performance on the video too. And I think that it's funny how the video shows the impact of these guys and their songs winning people over, because that's what's kind of happened over the years of people on the show here. So for me, it's a massive thumbs up. I love these guys, have had for quite a few years now. So like I said, I was not off early, but I jumped on. I haven't looked back since. Let's see how Jeff went with it though.
All right. Get ready. All right. So I find it difficult to understand how a band like this can sound so much like a modern day ABBA and have people not draw comparisons to them. Now, this isn't metal. It's heavily stylized rock and a pop song, heavily influenced by their fellow countrymen. And I've said many times, and I know people out there have listened, I have said many times that I do love ABBA. They were able to write some of the most iconic songs of the 20th century. And one doesn't need to be a scholar in music production to hear those influences heard throughout this song. They're tattooed all over this song.
Even just the male and female vocal aspect of it alone.
That's right.
Is a first hook in that,
So to say otherwise would simply only be if you weren't very familiar with ABBA. But also heard, I could hear some Journey, Survivor, radio-friendly songs in the late 70s and early 80s. And as I said before, I quite enjoy this flavor of music, but a little goes a long way. Now, they certainly aren't reinventing the wheel, and at its core, it contains that commercial, poppy, rock vibe that is smothered in syrupy lashings of catchy hooks and other tasty morsels. The main intention being to tantalize your musical taste buds. And I think for the most part, it succeeds. However, I do question the genuineness of this endeavor, as it seems like a well thought out, prepared musical attack that comes across far more contrived than a natural musical progression. Case in point, how can a band like this create music like this and its main songwriter and singer also be in a band Soilwork and make music like that work? Both are great at what they do, but chalk and cheese, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
a cash grab. It seems like an absolute piss take.
No, but I think there's quite a few musicians out there that can wear many hats. So
I agree with that. So I want to be clear.
But in this case, it just seems like a cash grab.
Yes, well, I don't intend for that to be a criticism of musical diversity, but painted in that light, one of the bands seems more contrived than the other, than a natural progression of form. And this is the point. I'm not sure which one of those bands falls into that category, but that's not for me to say, and I'll leave that up to the listener to come to their own conclusions. Mm-hmm. But I will say that while I find this song catchy, it's not overdone. It's not annoying in a way of being stuck in your ear or head all day long after you've listened to it. And so, for all its seemingly deliberate preparedness, it isn't quite to the level of being earworm material. Be that a good thing or a bad thing. Again, that's not for me to say. So, Night Flight Orchestra has been one of those rare bands that seems to be able to sit confidently in the rock, hard rock, metal, classic rock, pop, and even disco camp at times.
Yeah.
Somehow they found a way to combine all these influences and eventually arrive at this unconventional sound that seems to be all of their own. Even if that sound isn't something that everyone will like or they've came about by a natural means. So I'm going to still give this a thumbs up.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, we have one domino left here. Belle, how'd you go?
All right. So when I wrote this, I didn't know what Dave's motivation was for putting this song out, because it's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen him put forward. And if it's a joke, then the joke's on me, because once I got over the shock and the what the fuck is happening, I actually really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I got you. You're a pod person.
I don't care.
Welcome to the tribe, Belle.
I am still the last man standing.
They're cozy. Look, it took me a second playthrough to get to sort of get my head around it and to stop scratching my head over the music. Trying to figure out what the fuck was happening in the film clip, which, by the way, I still don't get.
It's a stupid video. It really is.
I sort of get it, but I don't think I fully get it. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. Put the Dave factor and the bizarre video aside, it's actually a really cool, fun song. I know it's a new song, but it definitely has an old school vibe. I couldn't really pin a decade to it. It's 70s, but has 80s feel about it as well. Yeah. But anything that gets me up and dancing is a winner in my eyes, and this song did. Another thing that got me about this song is that it stood out like dog's balls in amongst all of our songs of the week this week. All our songs had a really dark vibe to some extent, and this couldn't have been more peppy. Anyway, Dave, you're a weirdo, but I'm glad you picked this because this was a whamtastic song.
Nice.
Wow.
Well done. I like the pun. That was good.
Whamtastic.
That's the one we'll have to
spit my teeth now.
Yeah.
I'm still the last man standing on this fucking song, and I brought it to the table.
Well, let's see what the audience have to say about this one then, because it's going to be interesting. Back to Ugly Kings for a second. Edgecraft said, better choice than last week, Conrad. Good song. So there we go. But Nicole says, I don't mind this band. My alter ego does an 80s jig to it. So there we go. This is back to the back to it now. Adrian says cross between Europe and the band Survivor. So there we go. There's that Survivor reference there. But Nicole says kind of like an early softer version of Electric Cowboy. That's not a bad one there. So sorry, Callboy. No, sorry, Callboy. Correct. And Adrian's gone exactly that. So I think that's backing for Dave there. Vinny says actually don't mind this at all. Feel like could appeal to fans of other genres. Pure fun that cuts through bland work day. So that's true there as well.
Yes.
Adrian saying, damn, Bella's distracting me with the set falling apart there. Edge Crusher says, not a fan of this style of music. So there we go. And Vinny says, looks like it had a bone to pick with Bell.
Yeah.
Here we go. And then Man Family says, Night Flight, unique tunes, very catchy hooks. There we go. And Michael says, nice work, Jeff and Bell, good reviews. So there we go. Some love all around.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Belle, you did mention that there were songs that stood out in the pack this week. I'm going to argue that yours probably did as well. So yours is up next. This is Mental Cruelty with Nordlys. They're a German band. It's from the band's fourth studio album, Zwielicht, I think it's pronounced, released in June this year. Sorry, keep going with your intro. I said you tell me because I wouldn't have a clue how to pronounce their album. Well, it's not like two. It's spelled different to two. So I think it's Zwielicht. The CH is normally softer anyway in German, but yeah, Zwielicht. That's the band's fourth studio album released in June 2023. So this is Mental Cruelty, Nordlys. Interesting concept behind this song, but Belle, let us know why you picked it. So I struggled to find a new song this week that I wanted to put forward. I listened to heaps of new songs and nothing really jumped out at me. But, there was some good stuff, but none that kind of cut the mustard. So, and I had a couple of old songs. Sorry, what? Sorry, Conrad, what was that? I think it was Jeff.
Welcome to my world.
Yes, there we go.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I still do better than you in that.
I struggle the same.
Older than you.
Feel the burn.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been wanting to actually put a song by this band forward, so I thought, well, this is a good opportunity. I'll take it while I can. Yep. Plus, it was, I think, the last single that they released off their album. So it's the newest of their singles. So, Blackened Deathcore, how fucking awesome is it? I think it's awesome anyway. This song has the perfect balance of beauty and brutality. The beauty isn't just in the acoustic moments and the symphonic arrangements, which are truly beautiful. I hear beauty everywhere in this music, even in the brutality. I hear it in those atmospheric black metal guitar sounds. The lyrics are terrifying. Ancient Nordic gods and spirits wielding their powers by the northern lights. Holy shit, you better fucking run and hide if you can.
There's a bit going on.
The way that, so good. The way that Lucas uses his broad range of vocal sounds to give an emotive and entertaining narration of these lyrics is awesome too. He's got a real feel for what particular sound to use in the right place. The video looks amazing. That breakdown at the end, I think, Andrew, I said a couple of weeks ago that we should have a riff of the year category in the top 10s.
Yep.
If we did, this would be my riff of the year because it is just insane. It's killer, and they just keep sitting on it all the way through to the end. It's awesome. So I love this band, and I was glad to be able to put forward a song of theirs, and I'm really keen to hear what you guys think, and I hope you're not too mean to me about it because it's a little bit out there. It's a little bit full on, but it's what I like, so
that's it. You got to go to your tastes. You got to go to what makes you happy. All right. Well, let's see, Jeff, how'd you go?
All right. Yeah, beauty and brutality. I like that. That's kind of reminded me of my marriage. Thank you, Bill. All right. So
Any chance you get, dude. Shit.
I know.
Wow.
Man.
Sink the slipper, man. Go for it.
20 fucking years. That's all I got to say. All right. So, anyway, Bill, what the fuck are you playing at? How can you follow up last week's song with a song like this? How do you do that? Anyway, what we got here is Mental Cruelty. This is another example of a brilliant band in a theme I thought of Boogeyman, but taken to another level entirely. And I do mean another fucking level. These guys went straight up. So my experience with these guys, and indeed this genre, really has been extremely limited. And what I've heard so far, though, including this song, seems like it's a fitting testament to their brilliance. Sure, they may employ some of the familiar tired mechanics like blast beats and screamo vocals and that wall of sound, but to dismiss them as only that would be a simple travesty. There's so much more hidden here beneath the familiar veneer of public perceptions, and it should be heard by more people. And as I said above, I could hear there's orchestrations here as employed by bands such as Boogeyman. And it's clear that they've taken much from that. But I do really feel there's so much more than that. The music found here is done in a way that at no point betrays their immense creativity. There's powerful emotion found here, to which I think, sadly, many people will miss out on experiencing. I've not heard this particular song before, and so I found that it took me on a musical discovery with their tasteful use of orchestral and time arrangements throughout. Crushingly heavy. And I know that there are probably artists out there who would qualify as heavier, but I don't know how that would be possible. And if it is, it's beyond me. This was fucking heavy as fuck. And but maybe, Bill, you could give me some further recommendations sometime. I guess it goes a long way in describing my relative inexperience with music like this. But I have one on the record as saying that I particularly love dark, emotive music that takes me on a musical journey. And that's what I've discovered here with these guys after listening to the song. And then I thought, what the fuck? I'm going to put the rest of the album and play it. So I listened to the entire album.
Okay.
And I must say, thank you very much, Bill. What is it? Zwelik, I think? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know, something to that effect. But yeah. I knew I'd fucked that one up. But anyway, it's still a good album, regardless of what it's called. So I have to say that this is really beyond my comfort zone. But I found that I quite like it. And the more I listen to it, I'm actually able to discern some of the vocals. Now, I won't lie. Traditionally, I have always found it difficult to listen to a band when I couldn't understand the vocals. And because it's clear that if you take the time to explore, there is a story here to be found.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not fluent yet enough to be able to do that without some help, so I followed the lyrics as it was on the screen. And I think a lot of music like this gets put into a category that limits their exposure. And I think that because many metal bands don't realize that there is indeed stories in these songs, they dismiss it completely without listening to the music, and that's a shame. So I actually found the music here beautifully done, and the lyrics are too. One only really needs to step out of your comfort zone and take a few moments to experience something different. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, you might experience something that you actually enjoy. And that can't be a bad thing. I'm not going to lie and say that this is my favorite thing I've ever heard, but I will say that as confronting as it was, it is extremely well done, and you can hear the sheer complexity here. So, again, Belle, thank you very much. Massive thumbs up from me.
Wow, cool.
Awesome.
There we go.
That's so cool. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. There's a term that Tim referenced with me about being black metal curious and how my exploration into the heavier cycles of metal has gone on through the years. I think we're putting Jeff into that category now too. Jeff's getting curious, which is interesting. All right, Conrad, how did you go? Here we go.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh God, Conrad,
dear.
here we go.
My God, how anyone can slag off Life of Agony and like this is beyond me.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Honestly, Life of Agony got more talent in their farts than this. This is fucking awful. I'm sorry, it's bad. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just, I hate black metal with a passion, but this is, you know, I was being open-minded about it. It was probably a little bit more musical and commercial than some of the other sort of stuff that's out there of this genre, but it didn't flick my switch at all. I don't get it. Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't get it. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't grab me at all. I don't know what there is to like about it. I'm sorry. For those that do, you have some black metal purists out there who are going to go, it's not true black metal. Yes, because the production values are too high and it doesn't sound like it's been recorded.
It doesn't sound like it's in a tin shed with mattresses.
Yeah,
on
that tin shed shit
Doesn't
is
sound like
crap.
shit.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like shit, so therefore it's not true black metal. Exactly. So fuck off to those.
It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be.
You know, the production values are much better than a lot of bands of this genre, which I'm happy to hear. I'll give it that much. But no, didn't flick my switch. But that might just come down to taste. I think, as opposed to it being. It doesn't mean it's shit. If I don't like it, does it necessarily mean it's shit? No, it's just not my taste. However, I would like people to share that view when reviewing my stuff.
Here we go.
Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's shit.
You have to be the change you want to see in the world. So there we go. There's one for you.
Exactly. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's shit. I would like other people to take that on board as well.
I liked your song.
I didn't. It was crap last week. This week's was good. Last week,
That's what I
fucking
meant.
was.
Yeah. Last week was
But it
shit.
always goes in
Last
swings
week.
and roundabouts,
So,
guys. It always goes in
So,
swings.
You redeemed yourself this week, man.
So, no, it's a no from me.
All right.
But that comes down to taste. You know,
No, that's.
Mind is a
I'm just
terrible
gonna.
thing to taste.
I'll go next, and I'm going to just put myself firmly in sort of the middle ground on this one a bit. The lyrics are interesting. The interpretation of things like the Northern Lights across different cultures was a nice approach on things. And having listened to more of this style of music, lyric sheets always help. They're always fantastic. But I think the production was great, and I think it sounds great. And the way the vocals are able to cut through was pretty cool. They did that pretty well. It starts off a bit folky, this one. The use of the acoustic guitar, particularly at the start, but also throughout the whole song, was nice on this one. It's interesting. It's a point of difference. But around that, though, I did find it falling pretty quickly into the tropes of the generic blast beats and scream vocals, which I get why they do it. But for me, the points of difference for this band were things like the orchestration, the composition. That was a big highlight. When the second verse kicked in, I found that to be a lot more interesting than the first verse and the chorus. I don't think the chorus is very good in this song. I think the second verse is much more interesting than the first verse, for example. So there are bits and pieces in this song that I really enjoyed. And other bits and pieces that, while it didn't turn me off, it was like, yeah, I've heard this before. It didn't do anything outstandingly original to me in some things. Like, it sounds good. It's got everything you want from the style right down to the clicky kick drum and all that kind of stuff too. It's got all the little things that, but it doesn't sound like a tin shed with mattresses on the walls, which is fantastic. I mean, I like that it's balanced and mixed well. I just felt like the chorus, by comparison to the rest of the composition with the orchestration, I just felt like being heavy for the sake of it and didn't really bring anything. For the biggest part of the song, for the quote-unquote hook part of the song, it didn't really do that. I found the other parts more interesting. But like I said, it's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of a song. The lyrics are great, the production's great, there's bits of composition that are great, but there are some parts I was like, that was whatever. I like bands like De Maubourgier, Septic Flesh, Dark Throne. Those guys, to me, are like what you put the benchmark to. And while this is good, it's not nearly in that caliber. So if I think about this world of music, does this song do enough to sort of stay with me or cut through or not sound like the rest? And while there's interesting aspects of it, I don't think it's one of those songs that for me is going to hold my attention for more than the duration of the song, because it'll dissipate, because there's a lot of other stuff that's out there like this one. And I'm curious about the rest of the album to see what that does, because Jeff obviously enjoyed it a lot, and Bell has wanted to put forward something of these guys for a while. So I'm curious to check out more. Might be it's just this one song hasn't spoken to me. But I just think it's one of those ones where I wonder if down the line, I don't think it's one of those cases where I'll remember the song, I'll remember the band name, go, yeah, we did something on that. What was it again? That'll be what this kind of reminds me of at that point in time. It doesn't feel like it's one of those songs that sort of stay with me. It just doesn't quite cut through. It's good enough. It's a good thing. It's not a bad song or anything like that. I'm not being overly critical of it. It's just I don't think it does much to get above the middle of the pack kind of thing for me, especially when I have other bands in the same world in much higher regard, in my opinion. But again, that's just my word for it. So it's a middle of the road kind of thing. It's not bad, not great. It's just okay. It's a song, and that's not a bad thing either. It just didn't really do much to sort of go, okay, well, it's just another song in a world that's flooded with music. Dave, how'd you go?
Yeah, when this came out a few months ago, Bell shared it to our group chat, to which I posted a smart-ass comment about the band having a fitting name. To which Bell quickly replied with the middle finger emoji, which is hilarious. I honestly got to stop making smart-ass comments before I listen to things, because I did listen to this whole album back when we were on hiatus back in August, I think it was. It didn't grab me as quickly as Septic Flesh's Communion. That album's fucking fantastic. But as this album went on, vocals became more coherent, and I found a lot of interesting things with the composition and made me go, well, what the fuck? So I was actually quite impressed with the album overall. The song in itself is pretty cool. Interesting story told in the lyrics, covering the ancient spirits who hold control over the world. It's quite a captivating tale if you're into that type of mythology and spirituality. The vocals are on the cusp of what I can handle. For the most part, they are coherent. I can hear words here and there. I can't get the entire sentence all the time, but the words are enough to make me want to follow the lyric sheet, which I hate, because you shouldn't have to. I don't know why you write great lyrics like this and just fucking growl them out. We might as well just go back to cavemen grunting at each other if we're not going to respect language. It's a style thing. It annoys the fuck out of me, because when you have lyrics this good, you don't have to be that harsh. I understand having to fit the power of the music, but be coherent. A lot of people can. I've noticed a lot of people can scream and still be coherent. Septic Flesh are a great example of that. There's no point having words if you can't understand them. However, it was enough to draw me in to make me read the lyrics, and the story is very captivating. So, like I said, on the cusp. Half of it's cool. It's just not there. My ear isn't trained enough in that, but this is enough to make me want to dig further. And a lot of heavier music I've been hearing recently, starting to get a feel for what I like with the heavy vocals and not so much. So, great opening with the acoustic guitar, which they return to between the full-on onslaught. So I thought that was a cool, diverse change throughout the song. Cool symphonic elements after the second verse. The song has a really interesting structure, and it builds nicely. Not your traditional song structure. You don't get verse, chorus, solo, bridge, chorus, outro. Yeah. Instead, you get various sections that fit together and flow nicely to suit the narrative. And the more I become familiar with this style of music, it's more about epic storytelling rather than following the norm of song structure. Yeah. So if you like stories and you like something presented differently, you got to dig deeper into this stuff, because it is worth your time. It's not fucking commercial drive-through fast food shit that a lot of music is turned into. This you have to spend some time with. The ending is cool. I love the fucking lyrics with the repeating line, I am fire, followed by different descriptions on that. Bringer of doom, portent of war, light up the heavens, bringer of dawn, son of the moon. That last line is fucking awesome. I thought that was really cool. Excuse me. The music video is cool too. A nice use of lighting, and the face paint really fit the vibe of what they're doing. And cool use of the Northern Lights as well. They do mention different colors of the Northern Lights in the lyrics, so it's kind of a wasted opportunity to just have the green. But that greenish hue was a nice contrast to the fire, so I thought that worked really well in my geeky movie video production style. But overall, this is very cool, and I do highly recommend the album too. So it is a challenging listen, but it's well worth your time. So, Belle, cool pick this week. Thank you.
Wow.
There we go.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Sorry I wasn't as positive, but, it just...
No. You were honest, and you were nicer than Conrad, so all good.
But yeah, Belle, I got to thank you, because Tim was supplying us with so much of the traditional early tin shed black metal shit that I just hated it. But you're bringing up more modern stuff, and I am getting into that black metal curious style. So you're bringing some interesting stuff in.
once you start exploring it, it gets to be a very interesting world, which is a lot of fun.
Good.
It's just.
And it's not
no
just
different.
production too. The early traditional shit, they just chugged on the same note for way too fucking long. It's like they didn't know what else to do. And I would love bands like that to get as big as Metallica, where they have to play these songs every night. Be like, why can't we play a different fucking note? I'm so bored.
Oh, I don't know. They enjoy their shows, and there's a difference to their live shows too, which is it's a different beast entirely watching those
So
bands.
many
live.
crap bands from the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't
once
like
you get
that
into the
stuff
world,
either.
you'll find there'll be some that'll get your attention and some that won't as well, because there's a lot of bands in that world too. So we'll just see.
There are a lot
What
of
happens is-
bands, and I think these one like Mental Cruelty and Lorna Shore, they're quite actually similar to this band. They're black and deathcore. They do use a lot of symphonic elements. They explore, they push boundaries, they kind of mix up genres, and that's what I like. I like kind of more experimental stuff. And this isn't actually my favorite song on that album. I just picked it because it was the newest of all the songs.
Well, what is your favorite song? So if people don't like this one, I'll go and check that instead.
I suggest going and looking at Forgotten Kings, because that is a really interesting song, and that
Cool.
varies throughout the whole thing. It has a bit of everything that they can do. So that's definitely my favorite song off this album of theirs, Forgotten Kings. Yeah, check it out, guys.
Cool. It's definitely the symphonic element that brings me into it. That's my gateway.
Yeah. Well, there's gateways to everyone for different things, which is the cool part about finding this world of music. When you start digging into it, there are things for everyone. You just got to find your right hook to drag you in a bit deeper. Let's see here. We got Adrian says, great choice, Belle. I love the acoustic intro and it is brutal. So there we go. Got some love for it straight off the bat. But Vinny says, sorry, Belle, I just can't do laryngitis metal, but you look $1 million this evening. So there we go.
Oh, thanks, Vinny. Forgiven.
What do we got? Adrian's laughing at Jeff. Darren says, fantastic. Listen to this multiple times on Spotify. Haven't seen the video. We'll check it out. So there we go. But Man Family say hard, heavy tribalism. Very cool, which is good. But Vinny says on the flip side, come on. Sorry, having issues with my mouse here. On the flip side, this song choice is the soundtrack to my previous relationship with a vegan. So here we go. Andrew says, cool song here. Dimmu Borgir influence. Breakdown at the end is really good. So there we go. Michael says, I'm not into this track, a no from me. So a bit mixed. But Mel says, wow, I've never seen Jeff look so good. So there we go as well. Everyone's getting love in the comments here. Different
Jeff
versions or different reasons. Yes, Jeff does look very good. Everyone deserves credit tonight. Everyone's done their thing. Dave and Belle have gone all out, but so has Jeff, and Conrad's gotten dressed up. I feel very lack by comparison.
Letting the team down, man.
I have let the team down this
storms
year.
and shit.
I apologize. I'll make it up next year. Watch me next year. You know me, Dave. You watch me go all out.
I will hold you to that, man. I have a good memory. I will hold you to that.
I'll have the house built then at least. I'll be able to do it.
Hey, do you know what I love? Do you know what I love? I don't know if anyone else, if I don't think this is just me. I'm sure you can all see this, but Jeff, there's like a hat sitting basically right on top of where Jeff's head is. Perfect. Perfect background placement.
Yeah, it's well done. I did the backdrop, so give me some credit. I got the backdrop of us all to play around in tonight. So I've set up the rooms, I haven't set up myself.
Cool.
Perfect, Andrew. You did good.
Yeah. Here we go. Michael's going, definitely to vote on best costume and best set tonight. So there we go. We can look at that as well. So best costume, best set. As we get a bit further on, before we finish up, we'll do that. We'll get people to get their votes in. Just got to, Belle, maybe get a bit of pen and paper or something to maybe tally those up if you'd be so inclined.
Can do. Can do that.
Time for the next song, though. We're going to change gears again. Sorry, go on.
I just figured out a way to sweeten the deal with Belle, and that is, you can slag off a song, but then you can turn around and compliment her and say she looks good. like what the viewer just did. Like that viewer just did. Okay, Belle, you look good. Sorry, I didn't like the song, but you look good.
Yeah.
On the costume side, Rowan's chimed in saying, "Don't worry, Andrew, you have the scariest costume. Nothing more frightening than the Aussie metal bogan." So there we go. That is definitely the case for me tonight. All right, in the comments, in the description box, like there's always, these tracks are in the comments and the description. But I've got my choices up next. We're going to go with Southeast Desert Metal with their latest track, Boogeyman. This is the latest single from this band out of Santa Teresa, which is about 80 kilometers, I think, north of Alice Springs. So they're right in the middle of nowhere, and these guys are just a phenomenal band for quite some time. They've got like 3 albums, I think, now, Dave, if I'm correct. But this song is we talked about them. No, we talked about them because they
opening for Ghost.
Opening for Ghost is what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we haven't had a song from these guys for a while because with Dave and I covered their albums, but this is the first single we've had for quite some time for them, and I didn't even know it was out until I randomly found it. So I'm glad I did. I just wanted to sort of put this one out there because I love the band, and yeah, I just think that they're fantastic. Look, these, like I said, they're in the middle of nowhere. They always play the Blackened Festival in like, I don't know, the middle of really nowhere, like North Central Australia. It's funny, we've loved them for ages, but this song, Belle before mentioned that, you know, it could have been her riff, or could be her riff of the year for the song before that she picked. This song could have possibly my riff of the year. I love the riff in this thing. The riff is fantastic. I love that it's both clean and crushing at the same time. They've leaned into keeping things really simple with this song, just keeping it simple, keeping it attacking, and it works so well. I think it's a great time of year to release a song called Boogeyman up close to Halloween as well. It was a nice sort of choice to put it out there. But for as simplistic as the song is, there's a nice little hook in the chorus too, which is a bit of a surprise. I didn't quite expect that, but it's really cool. Again, it's simple, but it works. Having the boogeyman and the catch and cry, you know, like the backing vocals sort of jump in about what the boogeyman's going to do and it gets you and that kind of stuff. It was really just, it's not reinventing anything, but it's just really just in your face. Well done. There's plenty of flash in their lead work. They're always, if you listen to their stuff, all their stuff has plenty of flash in the lead work. The guitar work is brilliant from these guys. This song is just a small taste of that for you. But if you like your old school metal, I think this will appeal. There's just enough sort of melody in it as well. It's a little rough around the edges, which you want from this style of music. You don't want this polished up too much. It just works well for these guys. And I really hope they do a video for this song. I don't know if they will, but I hope they do, because there's a lot of scope to play with this sort of context and concept with a video that would really work. Like I said, everything about this is direct, nothing complicated. The story, the composition are pretty straight ahead, but there's some nice use of tempo changes throughout it. And while the song itself has repetition, those tempo changes make it not boring at all to listen to. Like the segments of the song go on, but the way the gears change throughout the song is what makes it engaging and endearing from beginning to end. There's just something about these guys in general that's attention-grabbing for me. I really do enjoy them quite a bit, and I think that they just keep getting better and better with each release as well. Their last album was stunning, and if this is like a first taste of what's going to be coming up next, then please bring on more as soon as possible. I think this is just great metal from the center of the country that I just think, you know, more people need to know about, and I hope there's more soon. But I love this to bits, and fingers crossed, we'll see how everyone else went with it. But Conrad, let's go to you first. How did you go with this one?
I enjoyed this. This is a nice and thrashy, straight ahead vibe to it. Yeah, no, this was good. It was, you know, not overcomplicated. Yeah. You know, it does what it says on the tin. It rocks. You know, it's just straightforward, thrashing kind of groove to it. No, this is enjoyable. Definitely, it gets a thumbs up from me, or a double thumbs up.
Nice, cool. I'll take that any day of the week.
That's not an in-depth analysis. I'm not going to go into an in-depth analysis of it, but it certainly flicked my. You know, it didn't have me running for the hills, you know, but it didn't smash it out of the ballpark either. So yeah. I was. But then again, maybe it's me that's difficult to impress. So you know, I'll accept.
I'm gonna get that.
I can be difficult to impress. To impress.
No shit.
You know,
yes, Conrad. Yes, you can. You can definitely be difficult to impress.
I can. Yes.
Well, that said, if that's the case, we've got the first. Yeah, but if we've got the hard one out of the way, let's see how it goes with the rest of the crew. And Belle, you're up next.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, first of all, Boogeyman, great subject matter. I was already sold on the song before I even listened to it, just based on that title. I thought, yep, here we go. The lyrics, they definitely did not disappoint. They were exactly what I was hoping for. And then I started wondering if Boogeyman was a metaphor for something that I might be ignorant of. But
I don't know, but the room is open for it. Yeah, the room is open for it.
It's possible. It's very possible.
They definitely suit, you know, like literally what it is, or what it could be about the Boogeyman. But who knows? It could be curious to know.
It's interesting you raise that point, especially what this country's gone through in the last few months, just to put that out there in the context. There is a bit of that to it in my head as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, there was something there that made me question exactly what it was about. So we'd be keen to read perhaps some interviews, perhaps some journos will ask that question. What's it about, and see what they respond with. So you guys get a lot of media come through if anything like that comes through.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye. They don't do heaps of press, they don't, unfortunately. Yeah, but
okay. Okay. All right.
Not sure. We'll see. I'll keep. If I see anything, I'll let you know for sure.
Awesome. That'd be cool. All right. So look, the music when it starts, there's no fucking around. They just get right into it with that awesome riff, as you were saying. I agree. It is awesome. The guitar work throughout this is fantastic throughout, including the solo, which I think is just as good as those riffs. On one of my playthroughs, I tuned into just the drums and what the drummer was doing. Great drum track, perfectly complementing the guitar work. Well done there. I think my biggest takeaway from this song would be the unsettled feeling that I got just listening to it from start to finish. If you're going to write a song about the Boogeyman, then you want to make your listeners very nervous, and not just with your lyrics, but with the music too. And they nailed that vibe 100%. I really, really love this song. So cheers, Andrew, for putting it up. It's very cool.
Nice. Yep. I'm glad you liked it. So we're doing good so far. I have a funny feeling I know which way the next one's going to go, but I'm glad it's going good so far. But Dave, over to you.
Oh, hell yeah. I fucking love this band. This song is amazing. Right from the opening note, this song just means business. Excellent guitar tone, and the vocals are awesome as well. Killer riff to open it. It's just one you want to learn. You could play this over and over again, and it would just be fun. Work on acoustic or electric. Just when you thought it had all been done, it seems very simple, but it's so effective. It's such a cool fucking riff. Great shifts in energy throughout the song. The lyrics get down to really good storytelling right from the start. It's haunting and instantly memorable. The guitar solo is fantastic. This band has always written good songs, but I think this could be the best I've heard from them. And they've always had the bar pretty high. So as you said, Andrew, if this is an indication of what the next album's going to be like, bring it on.
Definitely. Cool. I'm enjoying this one. One more to go. Let's see if I can get the sweep. Jeff, over to you.
All right. I really wanted to see these guys when they were poised to open up for Ghost on their recent tour of Australia, and in Melbourne in particular. Sadly, due to some technical difficulties, they were unable to perform on the night, and I feel a bit cheated because I was really looking forward to seeing them live. So naturally, I had a strong interest in further checking out their musical catalog and get a better taste of what I was missing out on. And I must say, that only fucking pissed me off even more, because after what I heard, I was really fucking annoyed because I liked what I was hearing. So, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, in some way, in some respect, I'm glad I did. But one thing I'll notice straight away is that these guys have a very professional sound. The production on the sound is overall is very solid. On the guitars, the drums, the bass, the vocals, the whole bit. It all combines to make a world-class sound. And they should be more popular than they are. And I hope that they do continue to grow. However, that is where the praise stops with me. Now, this particular song, I just said that I enjoyed the overall theme of the song. Obviously, working in theme pick here, Andrew. Obviously, this time of year, as you know, as we streaming right now, Hollywood's only right around the corner, just a few days from now. And despite the fact that they used Americanized spelling of the word boogeyman, I get what they were going for. But the repetitive, simplistic chorus for me detracted from my overall continued enjoyment of this song as a whole. But I want to be perfectly clear. It was just the chorus that rubbed me the wrong way. It's not bad, but it's like finding a bone in your fish fillet. It doesn't ruin your dinner or the enjoyment as a whole. It just sort of mars that one mouthful. What do? You pick it out and you move on. So for me, this is just a nitpick, but I had to mention it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Everything else I hear sounds great. And as I've said, these guys are really good. I do like their sound and their overall product that they're putting out. That makes it sound like a bit like a drug deal. It's not a product. It's just a thing. But you know what I mean. So, look, I would be remiss not to mention how this makes me feel, knowing that these guys are from here. Now, I may not have been born in this country, but I do consider myself and call Australia my home. And a band such as Southeast Desert Metal makes me really feel proud to say that.
Yep.
So, because of this, and therefore I'm going to still give this song a thumbs up, as I don't want my particular dissatisfaction from the chorus to influence anyone out there who's watching them not to check this out, because these guys are fucking great. They should get a great thumb up from me, and they're well worth your time. Boom.
Nice.
So, cool.
All right. Well, let's see what the audience have to say. So Mick, I think he said, I saw these guys supporting Carnival. Ah, yes, a few years ago at the Croxton. They were fantastic then. I was keen to see them again. So close to seeing them again when they were supporting Ghosts. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for everyone there. Vinny says, so glad you brought this band. Have been following them since it was first mentioned on Terratress a while back. I'm glad you've been following them too, because they're one of those bands to get into them, they stay with you.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got here? Then Adrian says, exactly choice, Andrew. It reminds me of Pantera. I love the guitar solo, great guitar tone. Yeah, they do have that sort of Pantera effect going for them, which is nice. Michael said, love this track. Interesting and total vocals on this worked well for me. So there we go. Darren's, as always, got to check out early, which is good. Good to see you, mate. Hopefully you keep well, and I look forward to seeing you guys coming through later on. And Michael saying good night to Darren. But yeah, no, good to see you, Darren. Hopefully you have enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll catch up with you very, very soon. Right, one more song, then we get to the games, and we'll get on done with this one, which is obviously there's one more left to go, which is Jeff's choice of the week, which is Green Lung with One for Sorrow. It's the latest from the British band. It's from the upcoming album This Heathen Land, due November 3rd, 2023. So again, reference track for you is in the comments and the description box. It is Green Lung with One for Sorrow. And Jeff, this is, dare we say it, you stepping out of your little zone that you've established for a little while now and giving something different. So what made you go down this path this week?
Well, I wrote about it. I'll tell you. So I was on my usual look for new music, as I was in my usual places. And I was coming up empty. Well, not completely empty, but there was just nothing jumping out at me. After last week's pick with the Metal Nuns, to which I've been scouring the internet looking for more information about them, I have found out that they're actually from Mexico.
Did you end up on Pornhub?
They're from Mexico.
Okay. Yep.
Someone said they're from Canada, but I looked up. There's another band in Canada, but they're not the same.
Okay.
Yep. And apparently there's like 9 bands or something like that over the last 20, 30 years that have all used the name Dogma. But these guys are from Mexico. So.
Okay.
So,
good digging.
so I had to know. I thought I'd follow that up. So, I decided to broaden my search a little bit. So as I was turning over rocks, looking here, looking there, trying to find something that was catching my attention. And at one point, I almost chose the band Nuclear Power Trio and their song Critical Bass Theory.
Nice.
Being an instrumental, I mentioned that on Sunday. I didn't think that an instrumental would go over very well with everyone. So I moved on. Okay. So eventually, I came across a video by Green Lung. And if I'm to be perfectly honest, what grabbed me, my attention, was not the music. because it really hadn't started playing yet. Rather, it was a bunch of women all dancing around completely sky-clad. And in case you're wondering what the fuck that is, sky-clad is the name of a really cool band from England also, but it's also an old pagan term, meaning essentially nude underneath the sky. So for me, being a guy and loving the female form, essentially sans clothing, that really got my attention going. So as I watched, I listened, I found out the music here.
Way to be classy without being classy at the same time. I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well done.
You're welcome. So I thought the music, it was very good. This is, wow. So it was worth the initial gimmick of naked women prancing around on my screen. No, there's no arguments there from me. That can keep happening. But I kept watching.
That's all you need these days, right?
That's right. And I was actually really liking what I was hearing. There's something going on here that sounded to me really quite special. So, Conrad, hailing from the mighty England, Greenlong borrow much from bands that have come before them from that portion of the world, especially bands like Black Sabbath, Budgie, and other bands from the the new wave of British heavy metal era of the 70s and 80s. And what you get here is dark, emotive, and evil. And I tend to like that in my music, especially if it's done well, and as it is here. So in terms of gravitas, I think for me, the vocalist really sets the mood with a strong, melancholy phrasings, gloomy lyrics that give the song a particular tone that's really hard to forget. And speaking of vocals, I'm pretty sure you can find a young Aussie hiding in here. And at times, I can even hear Tobias Forge. There's a distinct tone here that's reminiscent of both early Sabbath and Ghost at times. Yep. But also, there's other bands here that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And initially, I was thinking of Mike Patton, but I'm not sure if that really who's who I was thinking of. So if anybody out there had a vibe, let me know, because I'm going fucking nuts trying to figure out who it reminds me of.
I don't think Mike Patton's the right one, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, probably. So, I don't know. But I'll take some criticism there and feedback, hopefully. But obviously, as this song isn't particularly heavy, there's a heavy vibe that sets in, which is hard to shake, especially the video. It's completely shot in black and white. It shows how lighting and shadows can be used to create an atmosphere, coupled with a somber musical tones that sets the mood for everything else. And I must say, from what I've heard, I quite like this band. And since discovering them, I've went through and listened to quite a bit of their music. Now, some might call them doom, but I think it's more than that. And simply employing additional musical influences that lend themselves to creating a particular brand of darkness, which is all theirs, without having to really rely on, no offense, but screamo vocalists or other musical tricks of the trade. Yep. So I'm looking forward to checking these guys out. Their new album, which is called This Heathen Land, comes out November 23rd. That's it.
Cool. Alrighty.
Wow.
Well, that's Jeff's sell. Belle, how did you go?
Well, my first thought when I put this on and started absorbing the music was, this sounds like Black Sabbath cross Candlemass cross Opeth.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The guy
Opeth,
even sounds a bit, he even sounds a bit like Ozzy.
Yep.
He sounds a bit like Ozzy. Is that the missing link that you were thinking of, or am I?
No, I had Ozzy. I mentioned
Ozzy, yeah.
But yeah,
did you?
I got that. There was just something else.
Someone else. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I got Ozzy, and then just him, like his own unique sound.
Yeah.
You'll have to forgive me. I'm just going to go to the toilet. Sorry.
All good, mate. All good.
Thanks for the info, Conrad. Just gonna step away for a moment.
I'll be polite.
Morning wank's a bit late this week.
Oh,
You told him to watch that video. Yeah.
it's at least 2 p.m. Damn.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, please continue. Belle.
Anyway, thanks, Dave. Once again, talking about Conrad wanking. What's going on?
Dave has
That
a
was
bit
an
of a
issue
fixation,
last
I think.
week.
Yeah.
Tissues.
That's got
I
currency.
think you've got, I think you've got issues. Anyway,
got
all
an
right.
issue,
So
got an
look,
issue.
the music. Thanks, Andrew. The music is dark, doomy, but melodic and atmospheric too. Whoever is on synth does a great job of filling out the sound without being overbearing. Or even being that noticeable. As I said before, the singer does sound a bit like Ozzy, but he's definitely got his own sound for the most part. A quality to his voice that is his own. He really knows how to add that bit of menace to some of his words that make him sound like a maniacal supervillain or something. I didn't see the clip, so I don't know what he looks like, if he's even
You don't
in it.
see him in the video, not for this song anyway.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's kinda like a weird
my
version of a
imagination.
Tweet.
It's a weird version of a bird. All right, I'm gonna have to watch it because I have
watch
no
it.
idea what you guys are talking about.
Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. You'll get a
Oh,
there's
the bird.
yeah.
Oh,
Because there was birds I saw, but they
okay.
were different.
I'm definitely watching it now. Cool. Okay. Anyway, my imagination matched this guy's voice with an image of Skeletor from Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
There's the missing voice
I
link.
got you, He-Man. Yeah.
Yes, that is who I was picturing. And you sound exactly like him.
I know I do.
all we need is Jeff running through the mirror. There we go.
Yes.
Oh god, that's just freaky. All right, so the chord progression of vocal melody in the chorus give it a really epic feel. There are some really beautiful guitar melodies in this song. I love the anticipation you get with that pause and build up in the middle of the song. You just think, oh, what's coming next? Awesome payoff with, I guess, what you would call a breakdown. There are some nice keyboard runs in that section too that fit in really well. You get that instead of a guitar solo, which would have been the obvious thing to do in that bit. But they went for something different, and I like that. Overall, this is a style of music that I've always been kind of drawn to, but have never delved into too much. I don't know why. So maybe this is my gateway band. In any case, I love this one, Jeff. Good pick. Well done.
Nice. Cool. Well done. I'll go next while I wait for Conrad to come back into the picture here. It's very dark, very gloomy. That's sort of established right from the get with this one. It's a doom metal track, but not a frantic one or anything like that. It's a much slower building kind of a song, like Belle mentioned, that the use of tension and release across the writing. This is really well done, and yeah, it's not a heavy frantic song, but it's very weighty. There's a lot of weight in this one. The use of things like the gong or the bell, that was really cool, really subtle, but it helped to really set the tone from the beginning of the song. There's a few little production tricks like that one in this. The subtle layering into the synth, like Belle mentioned, it's one of those songs where it's the synth is there, but you'll notice its absence more than you notice its presence, if that makes sense. If it wasn't there, the song wouldn't be the same, but it's not overpowering in any way, shape, or form. But there's also use of things like reverb and like they actually applied effects to the reverb, not to the main vocal line or the instrument line, but the actual effect on the reverb to really sort of play this and make the atmosphere, which is what's the important part of this sort of style of music, really stand out. For all that, there's also a surprisingly good hook in the chorus. This song will get stuck in your head in a really good way, and there's also nice use of space and melody across this one. There's this sort of great crushing guitar tone in there, but the depth and balance everywhere else is a really good contrast to that too, which is a nice way to put it all together. Melody is pivotal, especially in the vocals across this one. But instead of being like an aggressive or growly track, this one has, you know, lots of air, lots of space to it. It sounds wonderful, which is what makes the overall impact of this song really work. And add that to the lyrics about this being a song all about being, you know, the sorrow side of things, you know, the one for sorrow, combined with the video too, for that matter, makes this a really well balanced song. It's a longer, slower, bit of a burn kind of a song, but it's well done. It's worth the time you sit with it. From the opening, this song has an almost cinematic feel as well, which I thought would really belong on an old horror flick. So if you'd have told me that this was on the original soundtrack from way back when, To the Birds, for example, it would have fit kind of thing. It has that old school throwback feel to it.
Yeah.
It's a haunting but equally beautiful song, which, you know, really is attention grabbing for me. It's a very cool track. I'm curious about the album. I've only dabbled with this band in the past, not done a huge lot on them, but I have checked them out before. They're very, very good at what they do. So maybe the next album is going to be that one that I do finally bite the bullet and check them out, because this song was a great taste of hopefully what could be a very, very cool album coming up very, very soon. So I think it's a thumbs up for me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Conrad's back. So how did you go with the Green Lung track?
Yeah, I like this. I like Doom, some Doom and Stone. I like my Stoner and Doom. This is reminiscent of sort of earlier sort of Doom, like British Doom. I mean, you had bands like My Dying Bride and early Paradise Lost, Anathema, early Anathema. Those were like the first sort of three British Doom bands to come along.
I get Paradise Lost in this,
in the 90s. And this had that kind of vibe to it, but with cleaner vocals. So I quite enjoyed the cleaner vocals side to it. And then there was a change in it that I liked as well. The change was good, so it worked for me. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would obviously check these guys out if I get the opportunity. If I see their name here in London, I will definitely go take a look, by all means.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a thumbs up from me.
Nice.
I didn't like the video. I didn't like the video clip. It was too violent for me. It was a bit too gory. But other than that, I enjoyed it.
See this thing.
The closing scene is a bit of a okay. There we go.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit gory.
Okay.
I like it.
And while Dave's excited, here we go. It's over to you, Dave. Bring us home on this one.
Now, contrary to what people might think, I don't enjoy tearing people's songs to shreds. Jeff has had a run of songs I struggle to say anything about recently. Thankfully, that changes this week because this song is fucking awesome. It's doomy, atmospheric stoner rock. I'm not really into the whole stoner rock thing. I need a few bands can play slow and keep it interesting, like some of Pink Floyd and Typo Negative. Either or, the whole thing is very foreign to me. But this is hauntingly brilliant.
Stoner and doom.
It's all, don't need to. Anyway, the shifts in mood and tempo are perfectly handled in this track. This is how you do it, not Life on Agony. The lyrics themselves are very haunting. The vocal delivery brings a whole new element of creepy. It took a few listens to get into this. It did drag a little bit to start with. I'm not really into slow tempos, but the more I listened to it, the more it did get under my skin and it started to make sense. The chorus got stuck in my head pretty quickly. Yeah, and the power chords that left for Ring are awesome. Nice ballsy tone to that as well. Similar to Ghost, they're standing out for taking a different approach to the norm. Every band wants to be the heaviest, the fastest, the darkest. But playing slower and getting a whole new, letting things sink in, it's a more subtle approach. You can actually achieve more. It's a very, very creepy song. Nice change of pace at around the 3:45-minute mark, leading towards the all-out climax at the end. After listening to the song a bunch of times, I watched the video, and that gave me a whole other experience to this song. The video is fucking brilliant. Here we go for full-on film geek nerd. It sets the scene in 1923. The look of the image is replicated really well from the silent movie era. If you've seen silent movies, they create that whole mood really well. And as it goes on, it starts to bring into mind the old German expressionistic cinema from the silent era, which focuses more on filming the characters' emotions rather than reality, distorted and warped camera angles. Classics like Nosferatu and the Camelot of Caligari. If you're into that artistic shit, they've got a strong vibe as it gets towards the end.
I don't know if this is the correct terminology, but it gave me that Noir vibe. The deep shadows and the brilliant and the highlight and everything. Yeah, and the ending of this video is truly creepy. It's kind of like The Wicker Man, if you've seen that. But great visual style. After I watched this a couple of times, I noticed that all the edits are actually snapped to the drum beat throughout the whole thing. They don't cut on every beat, and there's no strict pattern.
because you need to tell the narrative. But when the shot does cut, it's on a beat. That's really hard to do because none of these shots cut away too soon, and they don't overstay their need for being there. It makes me want they time out every shot because the attention to detail in this is fucking remarkable. Overall, it brought a whole lot more to this song. Everything about this is brilliantly handled. But yeah, this is fucking excellent. Thanks, Jeff. This excellent pick. Definite thumbs up.
Nice. Cool. There we go. A lot of love for it this time around. Let's see if that's replicated via the audience too. Vinny says, pretty chill tune, Jeff. I'm curious about them, which is cool. Michael says, get a lot of Aussie influence on this track, like the style. BP's here. Trick or treat. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. Trick or treat indeed. Halloween is right around the corner. Adrian says, great choice, Jeff. Very unique. So there we go. They are a band that do stand out. But Vinny says, I guess the going became too hard and Conrad disappeared much like the foreskin. Go.
Oh my God, Vinny.
Of course, Vinny.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you people?
Oh, Conrad, you have just touched the surface. Andrew says, I'm getting a cathedral candle mass sound with an Aussie influence on the vocals. Very unique band. So there we go. And Ed Crush says, love this. Great pick, Jeff. And so same with Sally. Yep, I'm in. Liked it a lot. So we're getting a lot of love for this one, Jeff. I think that's well done there.
Well done,
All right.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Well done. Yes. Now I'm going to motor through the last few bits and pieces tonight. And first up is a brand new game. This is either going to be either over quickly or it's going to go for a little bit because this is Guess the Song. And so the premise here, it's Dave's idea. And I think I'm right in basically saying that Dave's going to go through the lyrics of a song and we all get one guess, like always with these games, one guess only to name the song title and the artist, not just one or the other. It has to be both. So you have to pick the song and name the artist. And I don't know if, because Dave and I were very, very briefly talking about it before I went live, but I'm not sure if Dave's going to read the lyrics in order or just going to shuffle them out. So I'm not sure which way it's going to go. But the idea here is that Dave's going to go through some lyrics and we've all got to guess the song. And like we do with the Who Am I, I'm going to check the timestamps and see if the audience beat us to it as well. But without any further ado, Dave, this is your game. So over to you.
Alrighty. There are 8 lines in the verse, both verses. If you don't get it after the first verse, I'll give you a clue. Now, should I put the teeth in and make it harder? Because I can't talk properly with these in.
Yes, teeth.
Okay.
Teeth.
I'll try. Okay. First line. Locked up in the classroom, waiting for the fight.
Oh, I'm not going to know this.
Okay. Next line. Down to the schoolyard, knocking the gate.
Okay.
Okay, next line. Into the alley, meet up with the boys.
Oh.
Okay.
Waiting for the weekend to make a little noise.
Oh, God.
Jeopardy music.
Yeah. Thunder is strong, lightning is deaf.
Say that again.
Thunder is strong, lightning is deaf.
Okay.
Thunder is strong, lightning is death. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know who this is. I just don't know which song.
Okay.
Kicking the girls and starting to blast.
Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, and you guys know it.
Oh.
Line number 7. Sweeter than the heavens, and the fate means stumble.
No, that again in English.
Sweeter than the heavens, and the fate means stumble.
Sweeter than
That last line of the first verse. But it's Saturday night when heavy rock was born.
Oh, it's so poetic. It has to be.
Okay.
It has to be
I think I know too.
Phil. It has to be Phil.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. Yeah.
All right, go on, Jeff. You
I
on
think I
crack?
know what this is.
Is it Thin Lizzy, Thunder and Lightning?
Yes.
Oh, I
Got it.
didn't know the song. I knew who it was.
Was that your guess as well,
Oh.
Conrad? Or
Yeah, I was going with
Nice.
Thin Lizzy. I was going to go Boys Back in Town,
okay.
but I got
No.
Lyrics like that had to be Phil Lynott. My
There we
clue
go.
was going to be
Yeah.
Think of Bill the Band. It's from 1983.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was
The funny
I
thing
wasn't.
was, I used to have a radio show called Thunder and Lightning, and I named it after that
Yeah.
song.
Oh,
You really should have
you
known then.
yeah.
Well, there we go. I was torn.
Couldn't be anyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I wasn't completely certain. I was torn between it being. Sorry, there's something going on down here. I was torn between it being Alice Cooper or Thin Lizzy. I knew it was one of those two, but I just wasn't entirely certain of which one
I
it
think
was.
that comes down to also knowing
Definitely
the personality behind it and knowing what their tastes are. So
Yeah.
I know that Dave likes Thin Lizzy, so that's why I can think
But
that
still,
might
it
be a
was
possibility.
it was a good one. It was tough. We'll do that one
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Getting a drink.
So, yeah,
Don't
how did the
get
audience
cool.
go?
Step in my tank.
Actually,
audience go, Andrew?
on that note, just while I just had a spillage here, I had to clean up. But no, the which I'm sort of concerned because it was like a bit of rain. I'm like, hang on, there can't be a leak. But the audience didn't get it. So that was
sweet.
just, so
All right.
Jeff was the one and only,
Wow.
and only for that one. There. So that's where we're at. So while it's a good little segue here because while Dave and Belle have disappeared to either get fluid or get rid of fluid. We're going to recap quickly our Builder collection series. 'Cause now we're up to round 8. We're going to be picking albums from 1983 this week. So only a few more to go now. We're going from 76 to 85. So there's 2 more to go after this one. We've done 76 through to 82. 82 was last week's one. So where we were when we left off last week was that Belle was trailing at 160 points. Dave was on 165. Jeff won 75. Conrad 180, and I was on 220. Last time round, Dave got to go first, and he picked Kiss Creatures of the Night. Conrad had Picture with Diamond Dreamer. Jeff had Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast. I had Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, and Belle had Alice Cooper, Zipper Catches Skin. So there was an interesting and some different choices that were not expected in amongst all of this sort of stuff going on, which made it a very interesting sort of round for voting. So with that said, Belle, even though she does the scoring for us, she came in at the last on this one. So she got 10 points for her choice of Alice Cooper, Zipper Catcher Skin. Conrad, you weren't as bad off as you thought. You came in at 4th, so you got 20 points for your choice with Picture. Dave came in 3rd with Creatures of the Night, so he got the 30 points. I got 2nd with Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, and Jeff, obviously, which I think we all expected, got number 1 with Number of the Beast, so he got a nice 50 points, which we all expected. I think we all did very much expect that one. So to recap on the scores as they stand now, Belle is still trailing on 170 points. Dave is still in the same position as before with 195. Conrad, you're now in 3rd as opposed to 2nd on 200. Jeff's up in 2nd on 225. And I'm still out in front on 260. So I'm being nice and consistent. So I'm doing all right. You okay there, Belle?
Yeah, I'm good. Just forgot my eyes. I'm right, I'm good to go now. I can read.
Cool. Well, you know the results of this because you do all the polling for us anyway. So I did get the just doing a quick recap on where we're at with the voting and the polling from the last round of the albums. So you've done all this sort of stuff. I'm sort of there's Dave. I'll quickly go to some comments here. Yep. So Sally says song. Vinny says definitely bring that game back again. Each line, but a little tension like a ticking time bomb. So yes, people like the game, Dave. So the game is good. We'll be playing the game again, so it's guess a song, which is nice. All right, so Dave, just to recap quickly, for your choice last week, you got 30 points, which puts you now at total on 4th position. So to recap again, Belle is on 170 points, Dave 195, Conrad 200, Jeff 225. I'm still out in front on 260. We'll see what happens this week because I go last.
Coming for you, big guy.
Oh shit!
What?
I forgot to pick.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, Belle.
Sorry, I always do this. I always interrupt you. That's okay. Keep going, and I'll just bring up my.
Well, you're going to have to think quick because you actually get to go first this week. So I'll pad for a little bit longer while you make a pick for 1983. You get whatever you want out of 83. Just make sure you pick it. But remember, you can't choose the same band twice. So the rules are you can't choose the same band twice in your collection. And once an album is taken, it can't pick by anyone else again. So you can't have the same band twice in your collection, and no one else can choose the same album. So, Belle, you've already chosen Thin Lizzy, Foreigner, Van Halen, Kiss, AC/DC, Whitesnake, and Alice Cooper. There's a lot of albums in 83. Are you ready yet, or do I need to pad some more?
Look, based on memory,
Look,
I'll pad
if
some
you've
more.
got a computer in front of you. Obviously, got a computer in front of you. Just Google
I do.
best heavy metal records 1983, which is what I did.
Look, I think I remember who I was going to go for, because I knew that I was first pick. There's so many. There were so many.
83 is a good year.
83 would be a good year to even go last in. So so it was kind of tough actually picking. So I'm just going to go with my favorite, which I think is popular anyway, and that's Dio's Holy Diver.
Wow, cool.
Good choice.
Didn't see that one
Very
coming.
good choice.
I didn't expect that to go first, but I was. It's like, but what Belle said, like, going through this year, it's probably the best year that if I'm going last this year, I'm glad I'm going last in this year, because it's not a bad year, this one. All right. So Belle has taken Dio Holy Diver. Dave, you're up next. Which way are you going with this one?
There's a lot of good bands and albums from this year, but a lot I can't pick because I've already picked the band.
Yes.
And I wish I grabbed my record for this, but I'm going to go with Def Leppard's Pyromania, because I think that's a fantastic album.
So good. Oh, I've got that record too.
It's a very good one, that one. Very, very good one. All right. So next up is... So far we've got Dio and Def Leppard gone. Conrad, over to you.
Better write this down.
It's got to be Mustaine Them All. Mustaine Them All. Kill them all.
Oh,
there we go. All right.
He did stain them all. He must stained one or two. But anyway.
Yeah, well, we've had that debate. Like, Dave remembers a particular chat we had once a while back in the other crew chat, where I basically went bang, bang, bang about Mustaine and Metallica, and then said, here's some stats, here's some facts. If I can put that in your pipe and smoke it, fucking hell. Saying it every way except the right way. But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, but okay, cool. So Metallica, Kill 'Em All is gone. So we got Dio, Def Leppard, Metallica. Jeff, which one are you taking?
Well, I think I'm going to stick with the Halloween theme, and I'm going to go with Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Fucking Moon.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Dave, Pyromania.
That's cool. That is very cool. Well, the funny thing about this is that I did not think my first pick, the one I love the most on this list, was actually going to fall to me, but it has. I was expecting to take Dio at the end of all this one, and there's an album in here that hasn't been taken by anyone because I'm not going to take it as well, but I'm going to take Iron Maiden off of my board. I haven't taken them yet. I'm going to go, because it's one of my all-time favorite albums from this band, I'm going to go with Peace of Mind. I love it. I'm taking that.
Good choice.
So yeah, that's it. The one that was
so many good options.
Shout at the Devil. No one
What a
took
great
it. Jeepers.
year for rock and metal.
No. Yep.
we had Shout at the Devil. We had ZZ Top's Eliminator, which has all the big hits on it as well. That was there. There's heaps that year. 83 is it, like, if you're going to go last. Yeah, 83 wasn't a bad year. So just to quickly recap, Belle took Dio Holy Diver. Dave has Def Leppard Pyromania. Conrad has Metallica, Kill 'Em All. Jeff has Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon, and I've taken Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. We'll do a poll on that, as we always do, for this one to see how it all plays out. But that's a lot of fun. That was actually a really cool way it all sort of played out. I'm glad I got to get my pick there. So I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah. Cool.
But that said, 83 was a cracker. We got here Adrian saying Quiet Right, Metal Health, first metal album to hit the billboards that year. That did come out that year as well. But yeah, so Rowan's gone Bell, just picked Dio. So there we go, boom. So that was predicted in advance. But yeah, that was it. There was also Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil.
Except Balls to the Wall.
Yes.
Europe had their self-titled debut. Like Kiss had Lick It Up. Crocus had Headhunter as well. Manowar, Into Glory Ride.
Merciful Fate.
Merciful Fate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Queensryche had their EP, self-titled EP.
Yeah.
Slayer's debut was that year. Thin Lizzy had
Suicidal Tendencies debut.
Suicidal Tendencies, yes.
Yeah, Suicidal Tendencies, another one. So there's heaps. 83 was a monster year. So there we go. And Nicole's gone, damn, all my vinyl collection. I think there's a lot of love for it. This is going to be a tough one voting-wise, I reckon. People are going to really... You know how, Belle, we always talk about people are going to have more than one choice in their comments? That's going to happen a lot this week.
Please. Please, people. Just one.
Just pick one.
Just one.
And Edge Crusher's gone Maiden for me. Well, the poll will come up in the coming days, so just keep an eye on the socials for that. You know how that all looks by now.
Mark at the Moon came out on my birthday. Just saying.
Yeah.
November 15th, 1983. Yep.
There we go.
November 15th.
Okay, Bell's writing it down. All right, so... And Nicole's going to have to go with Maiden as well. We'll see what happens with that. That'll be an interesting poll. But what we're going to do here, while we're going to go through and do our battle now, what we did have a suggestion for this in the comments earlier on tonight. So if you're watching and you're here with us now, Belle, I'll need you to keep an eye on this one if you can. I'll read through the comments as we go through, but just sort of jot them down as we do. We've had the question asked, the audience have to decide who has the best costume and who has the best set. So who has the best costume, who has the best set? That is the two things you can choose on tonight. So just have, like I said before, pen and paper ready, Belle, if you can, and just sort of see what happens in that regard. So there we go. Always prepared. It's one of the things I love about you. You're always so much more organised than I am. Who has the best outfit? Who has the best set? That'll be a little snap poll we'll do at the end of the night's show here. Just get in the comments and let us know that one as we go through. Hadrian's gone, lick it up with Vinnie Vincent's debut. That was a good one. Michael says, we will all pick one but comment many. So that's how it works. And Michael is on top of that one too. That's how it always works. But yeah, in the comments,
Michael. I saw your YouTube apology. I appreciated that. Thank you.
There we go. But yeah, in the comments, let us know who has the best outfit and who has the best set tonight as we go through this one. But now it's time for a new series of King of the Riff, and this is all to do with debut albums. I did say last week we're going to sort of 2 rounds this time around. I'm going to change that up. We're not going to do 2 rounds until the very end, because then we'll do like the semi-finals and the final in one fell swoop for our final live stream for the year. So there's going to be a bit coming up in that. But by then we'll have had a chance to listen and go deep through the albums. So we figured it's better to do it the other way around than to sort of cram at the start. We'll have, a chance to listen to them all, get to know all the albums, and then we can make a sharper decision as we go through things in that regard. But as always, we'll get stuck into it. So the first round is going to be Boston with Boston versus Machine Head, Burn My Eyes. I'm going to put some reference tracks in the comments now for you to check out. There's also the reference tracks are in the description box as well. But yes, we have Boston from 76. We have Burn My Eyes from 94. This is the first round for this time, the first round for a new theme, which is all to do with debut albums, excluding Appetite for Destruction. We did make that a stipulation on this one. So who's going first this time round? And Jeff, you get to kick us off this time.
All right. Here we go. We're doing it.
He's done well to stay with the fucking mask on the whole time.
I tell you what, awesome. I'm going to need a fucking lung transplant if this is done.
Is it green?
Wow.
All right. Can't fucking breathe. But I'm doing anything. I'll do anything for clicks. Told you. All right.
That's OnlyFans for that, Jeff.
That's it. Oh,
sure, Jeff.
Wrong platform. All right. I was wondering why I wasn't getting paid. All right.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So, Boston. I guess self-titled album. It's just called Boston.
Yep.
Machine Head, Burn My Eyes. All right.
Yep.
Now, I must say right off the bat, this is one of the oddest fucking pairings that we've ever had on the King of the Riff series, bar none. So here we are, once again, the King of the Riff debut albums, where we review and rate albums, sometimes torturing ourselves as we go out of our comfort zones, routinely dividing opinions, sometimes splitting hairs, and occasionally going out on limbs, all on our lonesome. All for your viewing pleasure, so you don't have to. All right. Now, on one hand, we have the most iconic debut albums of all time with Boston's self-titled album. And on the other hand, we have a fantastic debut with Machine Head's Burn My Eyes. Now, I'm not sure where to begin. There's no question that what we have here is a conundrum. I suppose one could even call this, if you really wanted to, you could call this a mismatch, really. But we have two amazing albums that are polar worlds apart in scope. And they are both capable of standing on their own. So now they're up against each other. So as we go on, we're going to realize this is crazy. But anyway, I was aware of the original Boston album since I was a very young boy. I don't remember exactly when I first heard it or how old I was, but I was probably under 10 years old. And if anyone's counting, that was back in the 70s. So you could say that I'm very intimate with this, and I grew up with it. Now, I do remember as I turned into a teenager, I listened to this album. That was not just around my house, but I was out and about. I could hear it on the radio. It was everywhere. Now, in this way, Machine Head simply cannot compete with this legacy, at least for me. And so, in that respect, it's not really a fair platform. But there are a lot of other things to consider. So let's break it down. There are those who believe that Boston's debut album is one of the greatest debut albums of all time. And to back up their claim, to its credit, it has sold more than, well over 20 million copies since it came out. Furthermore, when it came out, it actually smashed existing sales records and became the fastest-selling debut album of all time for any American band up to that point. Now, keep in mind, this is an era when physical sales accounted for 100% of all sales. Digital media just didn't exist. So people actually went out of their homes and bought this. And that's a lot of effort for a debut album from a practically unknown band. So there's 8 songs total on the album, and 3 of them were released as singles. More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, and Foreplay, Long Time. And to this day, the entire album is considered a staple on rock and classic rock radio. There are no deep tracks found here. Every song on the album gets played routinely. It has been considered an essential album on countless lists the world over. That's no small feat. Boston's brand of music was the brainchild of one man, Tom Scholz, with his brilliant instrumentation, helped in no small part with the amazing iconic vocals from Brad Delp. Together, they combined to form a sound that would span the ages, and some has went so far as to call that the Boston sound. Okay, now, regardless of where you find yourself, there can be little denying that the album still sounds as fresh today as it did when it came out 47 years ago. The only track where I think it's actually aged a little bit are in the lyrics in the last song, Let Me Take You Home Tonight, where some may find the lyrics a little outdated in today's era. For example, Let me take you home tonight, Mama now, it's all right. It's not blatant, but people just don't talk that way anymore. Calling a female who's not your mother, Mama, probably won't fly at today's age.
Do you want to take your mama home tonight, dude?
Not really, no. Take your point.
You're Canadian, not
she's dead. That's not going to work out very well for me.
No.
I mean, it's Halloween, but like,
she's a crusty one, I'll tell you, my mom. Anyway, dry. She's got a really dry sense of humor. Anyway, that's just me nitpicking. I'm just trying to find Conrad's growth. I'm just trying to find.
It's the smell,
That was,
dude.
that was just a nitpick, really, with
Awesome.
me trying to find some sort of downside to an otherwise brilliant album from start to finish. Overall, this is just a feel-good album from the very first track to the last, where every song is capable of setting a mood, which is quite rare. It's not a long album. It clocks in at only 37 minutes. And to its credit, at no point does it feel like it's actually outstayed its welcome. On the contrary, it's so good that it makes you feel good that, in all honesty, if it went on for a little bit longer, would it really be a bad thing? I don't think so. Machine Head, on the other hand, Burn My Eyes. What an album. This is a powerhouse album that many would consider the album that was responsible for rebooting metal in the early 90s. Right in the middle of the grunge movement when metal needed all the help it could get. Burn My Eyes delivered. And what Machine had put out was an album that had just the right amount of heavy, bludgeoning riffs, pounding rhythms that would become almost as iconic in its own right as it's in its own genre as its counterpart here is tonight. So what Machine had put together, similar to Boston's Tom Scholz, was the culmination of one man, its main driving force, Rob Flynn. One has to remember that what was going on at the time in music history, a lot of metal was struggling. Places where metal bands and hair metal bands played were moving on with this grunge movement. And because of that, many of the music industries and stuff was also, the record companies were doing the same thing. They were, dropping long-standing metal bands for these new upstarts in the grunge scene. The vacuum that was left behind was quickly being filled with idiots wearing flannel shirts who thought that pounding on a guitar or bass was a way to get famous. Someone once said, if you want to get good on your guitar and grunge, don't fucking practice. Well, that pretty much sums it up right there. Metal wasn't completely dead, and as bands like Pantera were still flying the metal flag high and proud, and of course the mainstreams like the Big Four, they were still doing pretty well. But outside of that, there really wasn't much happening. Now enter Machine Head. Born from the ashes of a disbanding band Violence, Rob Flynn would leave them and go on to form Machine Head and handpick musicians to write songs with which he would eventually, the album would become Burn My Eyes. He set his sights on conquering the metal world and dragging it, kicking and screaming, if need be, into the realms of the masses. And while its initial intentions were there, he never really had delusions of grandeur. Still believed in the whole project, and he didn't really care what other people thought. It was just, I'm going to do an album, I'm going to make it my way, and that's it. They like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. So he didn't set out to change the world. But as it would happen, Burn My Eyes would carve out a niche all of its own, and those that got it, got it. And as it happened, he didn't have to wait long for him to find out what other people thought of it. The album took off in Europe long before it would make its mark at home in the U.S. Filled with intelligent, thought-provoking lyrics, Flynn wanted to show that the metal wasn't just about mindless aggression. He wanted to show that metal had a voice that was worth hearing. A song written about the Branch Davidians at the standoff at Waco, which stands for "We Ain't Coming Out." That's in Texas. That was only a year before, and everyone was talking about that. David Koretz's cult of the Branch Davidians had overtaken our airwaves and entered our psyche, thanks to an oversaturated, out-of-control media drunk on its own ratings high. And the song Davidian, written by Flynn, would challenge our concepts of how to know that this event had actually seeped into all of our lives. But it was not by the lyrics that were written, but by reading between the lines of what wasn't written. There was plenty of sites on the internet, and there still are, that have broken down these lyrics and to what Rob Flynn truly meant. And I don't think that anyone will ever know except Rob. And I won't be diving in any of these rabbit holes because lyrics are always subjective. People always like to find things in things that aren't necessarily there. That's just human nature. To sum up, both albums are iconic in their said genres, and both albums did much in the world of music. I like both albums, but I have to pick one. I simply can't go past how Boston makes me feel. All by itself, More Than a Feeling is worth the price of admission right there. Simply a great song for all time. Without a doubt, I feel privileged to have been able to do a review on such a wonderful piece of music. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that, for me, Boston gets my vote to go forward this week with its classic self-titled debut album.
Cool. There we go. One down. Now, just for reference, folks, we did poll the audience to get the top 10, and that's how we just sort of seeded things out that, we have a ranking system first versus whatever, and so on and so forth. So it's all determined by the audience voting. That's what rounds go through. So I know it's an odd battle this week, but it's just all based on numbers and no predetermined thought on what should go through or be better than this or what makes a better match. It's just based on the rankings. We did poll the audience as well. I'll go to that at the end. So I have the audience vote for this one too, which we'll go through. There'll be a different tree to go along with this one too. But anyway, Dave, which way do you go?
Alrighty. Well, I was thinking that a battle series on debut albums was going to be pretty easy and straightforward. Didn't have to think about what traits are synonymous with Nordic themes. Didn't have to judge albums based on how the concept was executed. But no, first round we have two albums that couldn't be more different. Both are great in their own ways, but how the fuck do I judge and rank these albums that are years and decades apart and both have pros and cons? How do I rate them on cultural impact, album sales, popularity, production, musicianship, songwriting? Fuck, I just have to dig deep into both of them. So Machine Head burned my eyes. I am glad this came up in this battle because I've been wanting to go back to this album since we reviewed Of Kingdom and Crown last year. That album was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember hearing this. I hadn't heard an album between Burn My Eyes and the one we did last year.
Wow.
I heard this when it came out, and I did hear the follow-up a few years later. They were good, but to my mid to late teens, when I was learning to play guitar, I was quickly becoming a guitar snob. Now, Burn My Eyes was good, but it was different to the bands I grew up listening to, because I've been listening to metal since I was 8, 9 years old. So my staple was Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Guns N' Roses, Skid Row. They all played solos, and it was such an important part of what they did. So when bands like Machine Head came along, it was a very diverse time. It's like old school versus the new school. And for a very long time, they could not coexist, and it pissed me off. Mostly because, and grunge was partly responsible for this as well, but these new bands had a shit attitude towards the old bands. They were considered dinosaurs, and solos were cheesy, and their whole old way of doing things was frowned upon. So that part of my guitar snobbery stemmed from that attitude. It was out with the old, in with the new. So Machine Head fell into that category of drop tuning, one-finger chords, and only occasional solos, if at all. It was a dark time for guitar playing. However, in 2023, having enjoyed the album from Machine Head last year, it was very cool to go back to this. I'm much less of a snob these days, at least I like to think so. I can just enjoy a band for what it is, rather than whether guitarists can stretch their fingers or not, whether they're a princess. Because I would stand in music stores looking at guitar magazines and just memorize songs. And then I would laugh at all these new bands that were like 2 pages of drop D fucking shit, one-finger chords. It was a fucking joke. I didn't even bother listening to songs because I could tell whether I liked something or not by the transcription. Much less of a snob these days. This is a very, very fun listen from start to finish. I listened to this multiple times at work. There's a running joke at work. Some of my co-workers like to, because I got my earplugs in. A lot of times I'm bopping along and they're like, oh, Dave's listening to Barbie Girl or WAP or whatever fucking pop song. Most of the Murder Dolls, if I'm having like a shit, I got to get stuff done at the end of the day, I pop the Murder Dolls in and I get fucking fired up. But yeah, this was one of those albums that really, really helped get me through this week, even though there were some days where there wasn't much to do. This is a much more riff-driven approach to metal. They do play solos on a lot of songs, so giving a much deeper listen in my more mature years, I was much less snobby. It's like, oh shit, there is solos on this. Not every song and not as flashy, not all the time, but when they do play a solo, it's really fucking good. Not outlandish like Metallica and Megadeth do. And it sure as hell wasn't Far Beyond Driven, which was also released in 94. Metallica was Pantera was keeping the best of the old school alive throughout the 90s. They were flying that fucking flag of, yeah, we can be heavy, we can have the hardcore elements, but we're still a fucking metal band that plays Judas Priest-inspired solos. Can't just play all riffs all the fucking time. But there are solos on songs like None But My Own and Rage to Come Over. They're fucking awesome when they come along. And his lyrics are excellent. I'm very much about lyrics these days. Some are just fun brutality, which is always cool. Other stuff is an observation of society, and they're very thought-provoking and very intelligent. Some very cool tempo changes throughout these songs, especially at the end of 1,000 Lies. That main riff of that song is awesome in itself, but when those drums lock in with the riff, fuck yeah. I did find the song Real Eyes to be quite tedious on repeat listens. It's social commentary, but once is enough with those type of tracks. It kind of interrupts the flow of the album. You just want to get to that last track as well. Yep. But yeah, I'm so fucking glad I got to listen to this album again. One of those bands I got a deep dive in and bridge the gap in between then and now, because last year's album was fucking fantastic. Now, Boston, More Than the Feeling is a fucking fantastic song. Now, it has to be, because a whole bunch of bands have ripped off the main riff, everyone from Kurt Cobain to U2. The production on this song is fantastic, and I have heard this song a million times. Anyone who follows Rick Beato on YouTube has probably seen the series of videos that he does where he's got the streams to these classic songs, and he will break down each individual track. The production on that song is fucking fantastic, because what you think is a guitar is actually a vocal. What you think is a vocal is actually a guitar. It's all blended together seamlessly. There are so many different layers on that.
The amount of vocal stems on that is fucking nuts.
Yeah. That in itself is an amazing accomplishment in production in 1976, for fuck's sake.
In a home studio too, mind you.
In a home studio. Exactly. Like I said, I've heard that song a million times. I haven't heard much of the original album, and I own it. I got it on CD just for that one song. I know Jeff mentioned a lot of these songs are played on radio. I only ever hear that one song. And I hear many people talk about the rest of this album. So I've always struggled to realize, why is this a great debut album when it's just that one song? Probably my generation, if I was a bit older, it'd probably be a bit more, but something gets lost in transition along the way. It is filled with guitar solos and organ solos, which are fantastic. The performances are great all around. Interesting stories told in the lyrics. Simple at time, fun stuff. You get stuff about being in a rock and roll band, all that type of stuff, and a lot of love and flower power, and probably getting high in a few songs. Foreplay has a fantastic organ and heavy guitar chords over it, which is fantastic. Something About You has some really nice lyrics. That one really stood out on repeat listens. Really liked that. 1976. It's a very tame release overall for what else came out that year. If you think of Destroyer, Jailbreak, Aerosmith Rocks. Overall, I come from the 80s with Guns N' Roses, Skid Row. To go back to the 70s, it's all Sabbath, Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, Kiss. This just seems very out of place for 1976, but it was a very diverse year. Just me going back to that year, it just doesn't get. So comparing, both of these albums are great. Production on Boston is outstanding. I just said the Rick Beato stuff. So as far as cultural impact go, Machine Head was certainly at the beginning of a change in the way people approach guitar playing and how metal could sound. I don't think Boston changed music all that much, the way it was written. The production, definitely. But as far as guitar playing goes, there were so many other bands doing interesting things. Overall musicianship, Boston fucking smoked Machine Head easily. Songwriting, I think Machine Head actually have more engaging songs. That album had me gripped from start to finish. I found my attention drifting a little bit on repeat listens of Boston. You can be the best musician in the world, but it's all about writing engaging songs that get you fired up. And I like the best of both worlds. I take a bit from both, so you probably know my favorite bands and I'm biased towards. I think they're the best of everything that music has to offer. After weighing up all the different angles to both these albums and trying to be objective, it simply comes down to which album I enjoyed the most during work this week, and that's Machine Head. That was fucking lifesaver this week.
Well, there we go. One apiece, which is good. We're setting up nicely now. One apiece. Alrighty, let's throw over to Belle. How'd you go?
Ooh, Belle next. Okay, well, first of all, I just want to say, guys, 2 fucking awesome reviews. Seriously cool.
Thank you.
I can't even begin to get close to that. But
yeah, you can. Just be you.
No. I'll just say what I wrote. But like, I really enjoyed them. Like, seriously enjoyed them. They were great.
Thank you.
All right. So, full disclosure, I'll start with Boston. I should start with. I haven't heard this album before this week.
Oh, wow.
I'd only heard More Than a Feeling. Yep.
Mm.
Which has been a radio favourite, I imagine, since it came out. I've always liked it anyway. So I was actually pretty excited to hear this album, especially since it was voted in as a top 10 debut album by a bunch of metalheads. So it must be good, right? Right. Everyone was right. So I chuck it on, the first track, the big hit.
Yep.
You know, have a bit of a sing-along, awesome, fun. And then track 2 starts, and now we get down to business. Halfway through this song, I think I'm already understanding why this was voted in. These guys are seriously good musicians, and the song was awesome. And that just continued on with each song that came on. Track 3 was a 2-part song. Of course, I didn't write down the title. But the first part being...
a long time.
Thank you, Andrew. The aptly named Foreplay. Because I'll just say, if you're going to get me going, then be an awesome organ player, and I'm yours. The musicianship on display here was so damn good. Just every aspect of what I was hearing, the guitars, the guitar solos, the organ, of course, just all so fucking good. And the vocals were good. What a voice, but
yes,
not just the lead vocals, the group harmonies, which were really popular for the era, and these were done to perfection. The songwriting talent that I'm hearing is next level, and you can hear why they got to make this album. I had to keep reminding myself that this was a debut album. It just blew my mind each time I remembered that fact. They're all rock songs, but there's so much variety on this album. Smokin' is a hard rock and roll song. And I'm sorry, but I can't go without mentioning just how good the organ solo is on this song.
Yep.
It's orgasmic. Smokin' all right, that's for sure.
Yep.
And then that's followed by Hitch a Ride, which is completely different, almost folk-like, beautiful harmonies in that one. So they're just 2 examples of the diversity that you're getting on this album all the way through. This album just took me by complete surprise. If I had to sum it up in 3 words, I would say it is accomplished, boundless, and joyful.
Nice.
And
really nice.
You guys know all about my newfound love affair with 70s music, and my almost compulsion to get an original copy of these albums on record, so I can hear exactly how they would have sounded when they came out. Well, this sounds amazing in my headphones, but I need this album on vinyl. Like, I need it. It needs to happen.
Yep.
So that was my experience with Boston. Machine Head. So we go from that into more familiar territory, very familiar territory, actually. Machine Head's Burn My Eyes has easily been in my top 20 albums since it came out.
Wow.
It blew the heads off all the metalheads I knew at the time, including my own, when we first heard it. Maybe not on the level of Pantera's Cowboys from Hell, but I don't think any of us were ready for that one. But this was something different again, and we all loved it. Davidian, what a song. What an opening track. I actually have a question for you, Conrad. What happens when you play this song in rock clubs? Like, does every person in that place.
I mean, certainly
scream out,
no, certainly
just
there's an age.
completely stop their conversations and just scream out that that line.
Let freedom reign with the shot.
I mean, I don't play this. I don't play this personally, and I'll explain that later. But yeah, it has gone down well. It has gone down well. I've seen it go down well with a certain demographic. My demographic in my clubs is a bit older, but I don't know. I don't really go that heavy in my clubs. But yeah, it can work. It can go down well. It does go down well.
Yeah. Okay, because honestly, like I could just picture the room, like you just stop what you were doing. You know this song was on and you stop what you were doing and you just scream it out. I had the compulsion to do that in the office the other day. I didn't.
That would have been great.
I restrained myself.
Bell's going
That was
postal.
really.
Oh wow!
I would
The
like
hour
to
of judgment is upon us.
one person would know what I was doing, but I have a feeling that wouldn't be the case. So I'd just be considered even more crazy.
In the world you work in, that would have been funny to see play out.
Oh, they're so straight.
Yeah.
Anyway, I should just fucking do it next time. Really, I should.
If you do film it, I want to see that.
I'll film it. Oh, okay. It was quite a spontaneous moment, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe I should consider this before. Anyway, the album's a banger. It's banger after banger. It's bangerful, banger filled. I don't know. There's got to be a word for it.
Actually,
that's a cool
bangerful.
word.
Bangerful works.
It works.
Like that.
Bangerful.
You find it. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Please go ahead and use it. The pacing on this thing is insane. There's never a boring moment, never a repetitive song. Once again, variety with this album is one of the things that makes it so good. For instance, the song 1,000 Lies slows down at the end. The riff just gets slower and slower. Slow, as he says.
Yep.
And then there's A Nation on Fire, a generally slow song, but with the most furiously fast ending. The diversity, just like even in those two songs, but they just do that all throughout. It's a cohesive album with a varied mix of songs that feels, and they flow beautifully from one to the next. Look, what can I say? This is one of those albums I know so well, but I still hear something new in it. Not every time I listen to it, but today I did. I don't remember what part, but I just have those moments like, oh, I don't remember that bit. It's just, it just keeps giving. It's just one of those albums, even nearly 30 years on.
Nice.
I think I enjoy it more today than when it came out. I think I appreciate it more now. I was just a teenager when this came out, and I've heard so much music since then. But the fact that this album stands up firmly against all of those albums that I've heard and that have come out since then is a testament to how good it is. So as much as I loved Boston's album and will continue to love it, I think, because I will listen to it, I will get that vinyl, and I'm sure it will grow on me even more. I just can't go past Machine Head's Burn My Eyes. I adore this album. It's such an important album in metal history, and that's who I'm picking today for that reason.
Cool. All right. It's interesting how this one's going. So right now, Machine Head have the lead. I'm going to go next, and then we'll go to Conrad to close us out, and Conrad will get to pick a winner at the very end of this if I don't pick this one now. The
fang fell on the fucking drink.
Wow. You trying to get my attention, Conrad, or you're just sort of just shaking?
No. I'm just looking at some shit, doing some.
Okay, cool. No, that's right. Just
My
making sure.
My blood's peeling off too. We're falling
That's
apart.
okay.
Vampire
that's a
Dave.
tasty thing.
I think everyone's done well to keep it together this long. To be honest, tonight with this much
Well, it's
costuming
fucking
going
difficult,
on,
man.
everyone's done well tonight. So we're nearly there, folks.
I haven't swallowed one yet.
Don't do that, Dave. Please don't do that.
We're not done yet.
I know, right? I've seen you cut your head up with your fucking thumbnail or a guitar pick or a bottle cap or whatever it was before too. So
I bladed myself with a guitar pick, man. How
Yeah,
fucking cool is that?
Oh my god.
Anyway,
That's how fucking hard I play.
yeah, okay. Anyway, anyway, I'm going to leave that alone. In the context of this little series, now it's important to note this is not ever a judgment about one album being good or bad, quote unquote. It's just about very popular albums just being ranked out by score and just popularity and sort of going from there. It's hard to get two more different ones in this series, though. The audience know just how to throw those curveballs our way, and I enjoy the way it all sort of rolls out. It's nice. Boston may not be the most hard rocking album out there. It's definitely not in this battle between these two. But there are some utterly timeless songs on it. Of course, you have More Than a Feeling, and if you dig into that one song alone more deeply, it's such an emotive and deep song about how music and memory interconnect with each other, which is a really fascinating way to tell a particular story. Something I think that anyone and everyone, especially in our little world here, can relate to. The connection between memories and music is undeniable. Music is the soundtrack to your life, and that is really well done in that one song alone. Beyond that all-time opener, though, is a collection of fantastic songs. I do know a lot of the songs on this one. I've listened to this one before. I love this album to bits. But the songs are just well-written, well-performed, well-produced, and especially when you take into account that it was done in a home studio when they lied to the label to make it go that way. It's like, fuck, they pulled this one off. Like, they really nailed it. This is an all-timer on production alone for mine. If you want to hear how to layer in vocal harmonies and the amount of different vocal tracks on this, it's like, oh my goodness, it's fucking nuts. Having Delp helps because he's such a phenomenal vocalist, but generally speaking, it's just a monstrosity of production, this release. But that's while I said this isn't, out of these two albums, the most rocking of the two, there's still plenty of rock in this one. Some of the solos, be it like Belle mentioned the organ, but also the guitar solos in this are fantastic. It's vintage. It's a true classic rock record that sounds great today. It really has held up incredibly well. And the guitar work along with the vocal harmonies alone show how much talent is in this outfit, but the mix was just brilliant for mine. There's epic old school composition pieces on this one, like Foreplay, which has been mentioned a few times here tonight too, which flows into Long Time. It's another statement moment on the album. Probably it's overlooked because of More Than a Feeling, but I think that in the context of the album where it sits, what it does for the album, it's just a standout song for mine. And the way that piece builds in the writing is just impressive. A lot of this is just feel-good stuff at the end of the day. It's upbeat for sure, but it's so damn well executed. There's hooks for days across this one. The feel, the tones, the bounce of the record. It does a great job of masking the underlying more somber lyrics that sort of those two things combined, the sort of sad lyrics and the sort of happier music, just irrepressibly drag you into listening to the whole album. It's easy to see why it was so popular. It's got some all-time great songs, but it's also an album that's pretty much for any and all occasions. One of those completely inoffensive rock albums that you can put on and everyone will be happy in the room at the same time. Easy to see why it's so popular. From there, you switch gears and you go over to Machine Head. And boy, oh boy, did this band make a splash right from the start. Now, I wasn't around for when Boston made their debut, but this one definitely made a huge impact when it came out. Obviously, it's a much darker, angrier record. Both are true products of their respective times, which is really interesting in retrospect. Machine Head are a blunt instrument compared to Boston. That's not a bad thing at all. Like, it's direct, it's attacking, it's big, it's bruising, it's everything you want from this genre, especially at the time it came out. I love the tracks like Old on this one. Davidian gets a lot of love, and that's got the catch cry line that everyone calls out. But Old on this one, that sort of took the best of both worlds from bands like Pantera and Fear Factory and just sort of carved this wedge and forged a new path in the metal world at the time. There are some seriously sharp lyrics on this one. Like, Rob Flynn is a master lyricist. This one cuts deep. It reaches in and pulls just chunks of flesh out of you when you're listening to it. Where Boston had air and subtlety, this is the opposite of that. But don't make the mistake of thinking this isn't intelligent. It is incredibly intelligent. It's exceptionally so for mine. They have a lot to say, and they say it exceptionally well. There's a nice mix on this music as well. They didn't have the loudness wall, which is it's actually refreshing to go back to this album this many years later and hear that it wasn't hurt by that. It's big, it's punchy, but it's incredibly clear. No clipping on this one. There's some nice panning, nice use of effects here and there too. It's another really damn well mixed album. So it's getting harder and harder to split these two as you go through. Tracks like 1,000 Lies are really well done. It's been mentioned a few times here in this little section. They lean hard into the fan engagement thing with that song, with the slow and slower toward the end of the song, which is one of those things you can imagine seeing it live, the band going off on it, the crowd getting right into it. It's one of those things that will definitely get your attention in the live setting, and it does so on the record as well. It's a very, very clever song. Again, that intelligence, not just in lyrics, but also in composition, is definitely there. It's hard to not get caught up in this record. This one has all the attack you want, but it's got loads of groove in amongst it. That's that Pantera kind of feel to it. The grooves and the riffs from top to bottom on this are killer. But it's funny how both albums have that long intro into a song. This one has Death Church, which probably is a little bit dated, but it works well overall in the album. Compare that to Foreplay and Long Time, for example. It's a good little contrast there between the two albums. When it comes down to deciding between these two albums, taste will probably have a big part to play for a lot of people out there in general, not just as a general rule. That's normal. But you can easily see where fans of one album may not necessarily like the other one. I think that's a fair dividing line. The flip side of that, hang on, there's a flip side, though, because I think both albums are damn good enough that they are perfectly capable of winning the opposite side over to their camp, kind of thing. So you can hear, like, the Machine Head fans going, oh, Boston, and the Boston fans going, oh, Machine Head. But when they listen to the album, you can hear them both being won over by the quality of the work involved.
You know what? 20, 30 years ago, that wouldn't have happened, but in 2023, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, yeah. So we'll see. It's different times, but that's where I think it is today, kind of thing.
We're more open-minded these days.
Yeah. Well,
it's not that. It's the people of age, the people that listened to Machine Head back then have grown up.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think young people finding both of these bands could appreciate both.
I think now, yes, definitely.
I'm trying to be serious.
Yeah. No, well, for mine, I enjoyed both these albums absolutely immensely. I love them both to bits. There was a big point for me, though, which sort of determined which I think has more staying power for me over the duration of this series. So if this was to go through, if one of these albums was to go all the way through, like we had with Nightwish last time around,
it has to be the band with the song Foreplay that has the staying power.
Well, I'll find out. You'd hope so, but but the thing is here that honestly you should, but I think that if you're going to go through this process, it's about which album you're going to want to reach for over and over again that's going to sort of get you going, and for me, one album has a few more strings to the bow than the other one. One has a really good thing going for it, but I just think it's a bit more of a one-trick pony compared to the other one here. So as always, there's no bad albums in these ones, just we got to choose. So I'm happy to listen to either of these ones again, but for me, I'm going to go with Boston this time around because I just think it has a little bit more interesting diversity going on for it. So it's 2-2 now.
All right.
And this is how the randomizer threw it out to us. So, Conrad, you get to decide for us, my friend.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Is Conrad that predictable?
That's a bit cruel.
It was non-committal. It was completely neutral comment or reaction, I should say.
How dare I decide? Okay.
I know. I don't know how many you've decided, Conrad. It's good to get you to do it.
I have a beef with Burn My Eyes, a serious beef with this album.
Oh,
and it's
here we go.
Not their fault. It's the album's a stunning fucking record, don't get me wrong. It's not the band's fault. It's not the record label's fault. It's just that it got the spotlight when another band had brought out an album 6 months earlier of a similar sound that was just as good, if not better, and it didn't get the same level of attention and spotlight. That might have had something to do with the record label that this other band was on. And unfortunately for that band, they weren't on Roadrunner. They weren't on Roadrunner, whereas Burn My Eyes...
Life of Agony were not as good. They were just...
No, not even close,
Life
dude.
of Agony pissed all over Machine Head. Life of Agony shit on Machine Head.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
That's not the band.
Sorry.
Life of Agony
I'm
shit
gonna
all over
fight
Machine
you,
Head.
dude.
Way better band. But anyway, that's not the band. And they don't sound anything alike. The band I'm talking about is Prong, Cleansing. The album was Cleansing, came out 6 months earlier.
No.
And it's a similar sound. It's a similar sound.
Snap your finger, snap your neck.
It is. It's a very similar sound.
Yeah. Pronger overlooked.
It's a similar sound. And it didn't get the spotlight. Did not get the spotlight that it did not get the spotlight that it deserved, and I think it was unfair, and therefore Burn My Eyes should have not have been as praised as it was, like some amazing, fantastic, revolutionary, oh my God, the great record. Piss off. Prong's Cleansing was out beforehand, and it should have got that level of attention and spotlight. It's just as good, if not better. So I have an issue with Machine Head's Burn My Eyes. Not the band's fault. It's not the record label's fault. The record label did their job, which was great. I wish the record label had done the job. Prong's record label had done their job just as well as Roadrunner did for Machine Head. Had they done that job, people would be talking about Prong's Cleansing like they would be talking about Machine Head's Burn My Eyes. It'd get the same level of attention and praise. It's that good. So that's my issue with that record. It's not fair, and it pissed me off. And it still pissed me off almost 20 years later. I'm still griping about
30
it.
years, man. Let it go,
years,
dude.
yeah,
Live your life.
30.
30 years.
Get therapy.
Yeah, it's
30
30
years. It
now.
still
Mate.
pissed me off. To this day, it's pissed me off. So I'm not happy about it. I saw Machine Head live on this tour 4 times. Fucking dreadful. Absolutely woeful.
Wow.
They got better, thank God. They got a lot better. But they couldn't
Actually,
pull
you're
it
not
off
the
live.
first person I heard to say that, actually.
No, terrible. This tour, that first tour, they were fucking woeful. They couldn't pull it off live. They couldn't do it. It just, the production on the record's great.
Wow, it's only one finger chords. How could they not do it? Shit.
They couldn't do it live. It sounded like a wall of fucking noise and shit. It was awful. I caught them 4 times on that tour, and I was still, every time I was like, this is fucking dreadful. I even walked out.
That's a shame.
So yeah, no.
You went back. You went back 4 times.
Back 4 times. It was a case of, at that time, they were on lots of festivals, and they were also getting support slots for a lot of other bands. I was in London at the time, and they just happened to be playing here that year. I think they played 4 times over here that year, so I got to see them, being that they were on other things that I was going to see. And no, they could not fucking pull it off. It wasn't impressive at all. So yeah, I still to this day am pissed that album gets the praise it does. When Prong's Cleansing didn't get the spotlight it deserved, and it should.
Okay.
So go and listen to Prong's Cleansing, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll go, okay, I get it now. I get where he was coming from. Yeah, because it's just as good, if not better. Now, so therefore, Boston wins this. I'm not saying that Burn My Eyes is not a great record. It's a fantastic record.
Really? Wow.
By all means, it's a brilliant record, but it's just not fair. So that's my issue with it. Boston.
Sour grapes, dude. You got to be more objective.
I think the songwriting is better with Boston's self-titled record. The songwriting is better. And better musicianship. So Boston goes through for me. Self-titled, absolutely. I will be playing More Than a Feeling tomorrow night in my rock night tomorrow night. I'll be playing that track. So yeah, absolutely. And it goes down a storm every time.
So there you go.
Boston.
There we go.
Self-titled. Machine Head, Burn My Eyes. You robbed somebody of their limelight. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't the band's fault, but just turned out that
the
way.
people spoke, man. The people picked what they wanted to listen to.
No,
It was
pushed.
the people.
It was pushed.
It was
No,
It
you
was
can't say
word
that.
of
If
mouth.
something gets marketed, if
They
something
both
gets
have their fair
marketed,
share of promotion. People
something
pick
gets
what they want to
marketed
listen
in a
to.
certain way,
Absolutely
people don't know
word
about
of
this
mouth.
other band. Had Prongs
Yeah.
Cleansing got the marketing that Burn My Eyes got, it'd be just as big, if not bigger.
No, because we heard of both bands back then, and people pick what they wanted to listen
Yeah.
to.
Did you? Did you though? It didn't get the
Yes.
marketing.
Yeah.
Burn My Eyes got
I
the
mean,
marketing.
fucking Metallica had no marketing in the early 80s. People pick what they wanted to listen to because they go looking.
Right.
That's what we do.
And friends say, "Hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Listen to this." And that's
Exactly.
how I heard.
We're
Machine
not
Head.
fucking Robbie Williams
Not the
fans.
way I
People
saw
find
it.
the good
I was
shit.
working in a record store. I was working in a record store in London, and I saw how Burn My Eyes got promoted. I saw it
Yeah.
happen.
It gets
and
promoted after the fact because people already pick up
Yeah.
on something that they like.
No, this is when
No
it very
one
first
pushed
came
Prong
out,
at me.
and I just didn't think that it was
All
fair
these
on
debut
Prong. I
albums
thought
come
that-
from the underground, man.
I think
The
it
record
comes down
companies
to
will pick up on
marketing.
them after the fact.
I think it comes down to marketing, and I think it's not
I
fair.
think it comes down to quality, man. Prong were just a shit
One band
band.
gets robbed of that spotlight. It wasn't right, and it pissed me off. To this
I think
Prong were just a shit
Still
band,
does.
man. They just weren't that good.
I think it's
They
a
were just
combination
as good,
of
if
all,
not
to be
better,
honest.
and it is just as good a
No.
record. Go listen to Prong's Cleansing and tell me it's not just as good as Burn My Eyes. Just as good, if
No.
not better. Easily.
No, even my judgmental teens, man, fucking Machine Head was way better than Prong.
No way were they anywhere near as good.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Be an interesting comparison just to get the audience to see what they think of them. But the funny thing about this one overall is that we've actually, Belle will know this because she collated all the data for us here. But again, thank you, Belle, for the work you do behind the scenes on that one. Very much appreciated every week. But the funny thing here is that in the audience voting of it all, Machine Head actually won by 2 votes.
Only two.
Only 2. So in the audience tree, they've gone one way, and on our tree, we're going the other way. So the really curious thing about this is just to see where we finish up, if it's going to keep going in different directions, or if we're going to wind up sort of close to the same point as these ones go on. So for our round, Boston has taken it, but for the audience choice, Machine Head took it. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where this one shakes out over the coming weeks between now and
Who does Boston go up against now that it's gone through?
the
The winner of what?
winner of jeez, hang on, I've got that file here somewhere.
Or is this too much too soon?
That would be tricky.
I have to work it out. Hold on a second. Give me a moment here. There it is. So, bloody hell, of course it doesn't want to open for me properly now. So for that, they go up against, because they were, so you're talking about Machine Head, right? Is that what you want to know?
Boston. Who do they go up against?
Boston,
They're going through.
They will go up against the top Van Halen.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So
Wow.
That's good.
that's easy. No, that's easy.
That's a tall order.
we'll see what happens in that regard.
See? Yeah.
We'll see.
So
You never
I'm
know.
very happy to get my revenge on Machine Head and kick their asses out.
Oh, revenge? What have they done to you?
Dude, don't take it
They
personally.
stole
man.
the spotlight from Prong.
I didn't win wrong.
Conrad,
You know
they
someone
didn't,
in them.
they didn't go out with intent to do that. Fuck.
Wow.
Well, we're setting up to an
I
early
didn't mean
start. We're
to,
off the flyer.
It annoyed me.
Next week's going to be interesting because next week's King of the Riff is 2 very different albums again. Belle, you like this. Dio Holy Diver is up next week, and it's going up against Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. So there's
That's a
another
cool battle.
Yeah,
That's a good
sweet.
matchup.
Wow.
interesting battle, that one.
Wow.
So that is coming up next week on our next live stream. For those on Patreon, for our Sunday session, we're going to be doing Warbirds, Ronnie Atkins, Nuclear Power Trio, a classic from Avantasia, and continuing our Metallica journey. We're going to do 2 albums this time on Sunday, along with some TV episodes dedicated to new tunes and also a special 2-hour presentation for TV on debut albums. So if you wanted to get on that stuff, hit the link in the description box for our Patreon page. Whatever tier you decide to join up to, if you make your own, go for it. Then you'll get access to that on Sunday as we go through things.
So with Metallica's Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning on the listening this week, it's really hard to listen to anything else because those 2 albums are fucking great.
Although that said, there's some pretty fucking good albums in that list. Though,
there are. I've heard everything so far, but fucking Metallica, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I know. There's some good albums, though. Check us out on telly as well. We're on TV every week, Thursday nights, 10:30 p.m. on Channel 44 in Adelaide, and Saturday nights, 10:30 p.m. Channel 30 in Melbourne, except for this week. We're about 11 p.m., we reckon, this coming Saturday night for our Halloween special. It's a Halloween special coming up. But because of the Antenna Awards on Channel 31, they should theoretically finish about 10:30. Did you put another fang in the fucking drink, Dave?
No, they fell out at the wrong moment. Okay. Trying to look menacing and my fucking teeth falling.
Old man vampire. But yeah, so that's like art imitating life there for you, Dave, with your teeth breaking.
I know.
But yeah, so because of the Antenna Awards, we'll be airing a little bit later. They hope to finish about 10:30 p.m, but these things never go on time, so it should be by 11 p.m. on the air and having a marathon for you of Halloween stuff on Channel 31. We had a lot of fun filming this year's one, Dave, didn't we? It was a interesting one to do. We had a bit of fun with it. Dave took on the challenge trying to find some stuff we haven't really played as much, and I took on the challenge and go through
something a little bit different.
Yeah,
tried to go broaden the outlook.
Yeah, so we did some classics, did some different stuff. We had a bit of fun with this. It's funny how we both went to the Nightmare Before Christmas album. Both of us went there as well, which was cool.
Fun.
That was a lot of fun. So a bit different this time around, but yeah, interesting. And Belle, we got a request in there for you as well. So that's that.
We did.
Oh, cool. Thanks, guys.
That'll be coming up. So as always, there are links in the description box. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Check out our Patreon page, like I was saying. If you can't hit the link, doesn't work, just search for the Hard Rock Shiny preferred platform. You'll find us pretty quickly. We have lots to get through. We're on the home run now toward the end of the year. We're going to have a lot of fun between now and then, though, with this battle series. We're off to a good start. Let's go through some comments. Belle, get that pen and paper ready. Let's see if the audience were paying attention and gave us some votes before. What do we got here? So back to this is where we started on the 83 albums. Vinny says, I enjoyed making Lick It Up. So there we go. Adrian says, I can't pick the best costume. You all look great. Sorry. All right, cool.
Thanks,
Let's
dude.
see here. Vinny says, I think Belle has set a standard for you blokes on set and costume. Great effort from all otherwise. So I think Belle gets both votes on that one from Vinny. So there we go.
Thank you.
Rowan says,
You're
gave both
awesome.
albums a listen this week. Hadn't heard Machine Head before. Great music, but the vocals don't ever work for me. Boston is one of those perfect albums, so I'd pick Boston. Adrian says, great album from Boston, but I have to go with my Bay Area boys, Machine Head. Rob Flynn, former guitarist for the band Violence, former Machine Head. So there we go. It goes, flips and flips. Malice says, Boston for me on this one. Best debut album of all time until Dave's Boys a few years later in 87. So there we go. Michael says, I agree. Boston is so good. I have to pick it. So many classic riffs on it. Sally says, Belle has interactive skeleton guy, so that's the best one. Dave looks the best. Jeff's a bit too spooky for me.
Fuck yeah, I do.
Belle gets sket. Dave gets costume on that one.
Okay.
So, there we go.
Thanks, pal.
Same here. Mel says, Dave for the outfit, Belle for the set. Andy's effort shameful. Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. I was trying to not get blown away by a storm today.
Let the team down, man.
I know. I'm sorry. Edge Crusher. Boston wins for me, but how good are these two releases? They're both fucking good.
Yeah.
Adrian says, Tom Schultz made the Rockman. Def Leppard used the Rockman to record Hysteria. Side note, yes, that is true. Tom Schultz is underrated in terms of production history. He is a absolute gun. But Adrian also says you should listen to Violence, Eternal Nightmare. I'll have to go and add that to the list.
Cool.
Here we go. Belle already knows the winner with the Conrad vote.
Very fast.
What do we got here? That is so
Yeah.
funny, Conrad from Edge Crusher. And Michael's on classic Conrad. You slayed them, so there we go.
Yeah.
Rowan says never heard Machine Head or Prong, so there we go. But Edge Crusher
Rowan.
and Prong, very underrated. We've got a lot of love here for Prong. Michael says, have to vote on set and costumes soon. Hard choices to make. Well, you got to get in quickly if you haven't already. Adrian says 80s Bay Area thrash scene, Testament, Death Angel, Exodus, Violence. We're all popping. I was hanging out every weekend at Paradigm Studios where all those bands would be and Lars would go there. That would have been fucking fantastic. Adrian.
In the Bay Area. Holy shit, dude.
That would be cool, man. You'd have some stories to tell, I am sure. Michael says, Dave, you keep taking your teeth. We can't believe your performance. So there we go.
I'm trying my best, man. I fucking hurt.
Nicole's here saying Tommy Johansson's new song drops tonight. This is Halloween rap version. Okay, have to go and check that out, Nicole.
Cool.
Have to go and check that out.
Nice.
But Nicole also said Bell, set and costume. I think we know who's won tonight.
Love you, girl.
Michael says, I'm voting best set Bell, best costume Dave, and Bell are tied. Connor looks like he's been smoking ice pipe on Burke Street.
Fuck off!
Oh, wow. And then another one here, Bell set Dave outfit. I think we have the winner, don't we, Bell? Which way is this broken down?
All right, Dave. Okay, and then
Bell set Dave outfit for the last one.
It's a tie for costume between me and Dave, actually.
Nice. There you go.
And it's me for set. So
I think Bell wins.
I think we're all winners.
That's pretty. Bell, you took both categories. Even if it was a tie, you took both categories. I think the winner is Bell. So pretty
Bell wins.
Bell wins. Well done. Round of applause. Now the bar has been set.
If I had teeth that kept falling out, that I would have either got more votes or less votes?
It's all about the teeth that can come out.
Bell. Depends on the audience, doesn't it? So what's going on there?
I thought that would be awesome. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
There we go. But to be dead serious here, I am the complete lamewad in this one. So a credit to everyone else for getting involved and having some fun with the decoration tonight. So Connor was going for the Eddie Munson effect there. Dave obviously went for the vampire look. So did Bell, and Jeff did something we've never seen before on the show too, which is fantastic. So to everyone involved,
We still don't know what it is.
I'm not quite sure, but it's cool.
I love it.
I'm cousins. I'm cousins. Yeah.
And you made the whole show of it, man.
It's kind of, it's like Slipknotty somehow.
Yeah.
I just keep getting Slipknot vibes from it.
And Venom.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Venom.
Venom, yeah.
Oh,
it is very cool.
Or you mean like Spider-Man's Venom?
Yeah.
Spider-Man Venom,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Spider-Man Venom.
That's really cool, man.
I like
So
that.
the bar has been set. We know what we're going to be aiming for next year now. So we're going to have to beat Bell next year. That is the target now.
Oh, yeah. Challenge set.
We got to beat Bell. But we have Christmas coming up, so maybe we'll have some fun with that.
Bell's going to beat Bell.
Yeah, Bell's going to beat Bell, so good luck with that. But yeah, that about does us for tonight. We'll go to the bin and we'll get out of here. So let's go through this. Let's see who goes to the bin first. Let's go to Jeff. What are you putting in the bin this week?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to my very good friend Andrew Carey, who's watching over in WA.
Nice.
He was the guy that he sent me the message about Portnoy this morning, and I'm like, holy shit. I thought it was April Fool's, as I said. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So that was about 1 o'clock this morning. Like, it was, so it would have been like 8 o'clock or whatever over his time, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And I was just like, wow. So Andrew, thank you very much. You're a good guy. I've known him for 25 years. He's a great guy.
Awesome. Well done, man.
And all right. My bin. Oh boy. So my bin this time. You know what it is? My bin is a little bit petty, but I don't give a fuck because I'm a petty guy. So
Petty's good.
Petty's good. I'm gonna target the overpricing and the gouging of I'm a gamer, okay? I play a lot of fucking video games. Okay, so I'm in my 50s. I play games. Fuck off. It's my life. I do what I want. But
Have fun.
that's right. Other people, you can't play games. You're too old. When I tell them I'm playing, I'm literally playing Call of Duty, and the guy's like, "Holy shit, man, you're pretty good." I'm like, yeah, I'm probably the best 54-year-old player you ever fucking met. Anyway, so when I buy a game from a digital version of the game,
Yeah.
and I pay $159.99.
Wow.
Okay, for this digital version that I can't touch, I don't own. I'm never gonna be able to take it and trade it in. And the same fucking game in America is going for $69.99.
Wow.
And it's a digital version. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
How do they justify an extra fucking $90? How it's
That's bad.
what? Just because you live in Australia, we're going to get charged an Well, charge those Aussies another $90. Fuck it. What do they do about it, right?
That happens.
They do that.
Yep.
I know it's fucking bullshit. I looked it up. So
It is.
If they were paying $99 in America, right, and then we're paying $159 here, that works out to almost parity. Okay, that's given the price of the dollar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But $69.99 to $159.99, fuck off. That's just gouging us from basically where we live. We have no control. We can't do anything about it. So these gouging fucking cunts can get in the bin.
Well said.
All right. Well done. I completely concur with that. That is nicely put. That's been a problem for a long time. It's impacted music and movies and that as well. It's not just video games, but it's a big problem. It's a big problem. The geo-lock tax. It's fucked. Alrighty. Dave, what do you put in the bin?
Yeah. Persistent coughs. I just can't shake this coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Coffin. Coffin. Come on. Work it. Okay. I got a bunch. Too many concerts being announced when you're broke. It's fucking depressing. So many. If this was happening a few years ago, I would have been losing my shit. But now it's just like,
Try living in London. Try living in London.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a job. You don't. I don't know how you manage it.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're on your coffee break or your tea break, and it comes to an end, the 10 minutes or the 15 minutes is up. You get that, I better get up and get motivated. You got that last little bit down the bottom of the cup. You get up and you got to chug that last bit and you completely miss your mouth and just spill it down your fucking throat or your neck. You're missing the hole completely. I feel like a complete wanker. That feeling can get in the bin.
Oh, no.
Fucking unco as fuck.
That's great.
It's not good. It's not good.
I'm sure it's happened to everyone. I hope it's happened to everyone.
Has.
I can't just
Don't worry,
Like
you're alone.
me taking a piss, pull out a pubic hair and piss myself. My dick is
the older you get, the more experience you have with drinking. How the fuck can you keep missing the hole? But it still happens. What the hell? People who can't press a button. Now, people who are on the Patreon stream on Sunday realize I got a phone call halfway through the taping,
Yes.
and there was an issue at work. I had to go into work at 11:30 at night and press a button. It's not hard. Button that's lit up with a little fucking light. Press it and things start. I'm like, seriously? Jesus Christ. Okay, and most importantly, chicken bones were breaking my fucking tooth. That was not fun. It wasn't exactly sore, but the expense, that fucking hurt. So all the fucking voodoo bone shit happens and I can get in the bin. I know it's Halloween, but that shit shouldn't be happening. Apart from that, good.
Cool. All right.
People who don't like Halloween and say it's American garbage, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fun police. Miserable people.
Definitely the fun police.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Phil, what have you got?
Cats. I want to put cats in the bin.
Just cats. But the musical or just cats in general?
Cats in
Cats, like actual cats. No, cats. Look, I have 3 cats.
Okay.
Unofficially, I have 5 cats.
So you're like the crazy cat lady for us.
That is exactly what my husband calls me. He says I'm a crazy cat lady. He can fuck off because I genuinely like cats. And I
they can replace the hamster to get the internet running.
You can fuck off too. I never planned to have 5 cats or be a crazy cat lady, but it just happens. I feel for all the crazy cat ladies out there because I'm sure they never intended for it to happen to them as well, but it just happens. Look, I have officially 3 cats and 2 feral cats that my stupid bleeding heart that I have for animals has it's come about that a mother and a kitten.
Why am I hearing a cat?
That's Jeff.
I was going to say, is that a cat noise? I feel like I need to go and feed the cats.
Yeah, no, it's
Yes, pussy noises.
Yes.
Thanks. Oh, thank you.
Here we go.
Anyway, look, the feral cats appeared as like a mother and a kitten, and I fed them, and now they just keep coming over here, and they kind of live here. Yeah, so that's my fault, but
That's how it works.
How could you not? How could you not? Anyway, so look, cats, they're fucking so annoying, especially at dinner time. I have a big fat tabby called Ferris, and from about
from the day off
4 p.m. onwards, he starts stalking me. He stalks me. He passively, aggressively stalks me. And I'm generally working at that time, and he just kind of comes near me and sits there and starts purring and just is there, and he makes sure I can see him. And I wish he'd just fuck off because it's annoying. And I know what he wants. And if I make a move to get up, or if I get up, he'll run to the kitchen and go, dinner time. But no, we're still 2 hours away. Anyway, every day it happens, and he shits me. So anyway, 6 p.m. is dinner time for the cats, and it's like a goddamn symphony of cat yelling. I've got him yelling while I'm preparing the food, and there's the other cat, Banjo, and he's like pipes up, and then there's a really old cat, the third cat that we've had for like nearly 20 years, and she's just about deaf and she can't hear anything, so she yells really loud because anyway, she can hear anything. So she's yelling for her food, and then I've got the 2 cats that are outside, the 2 feral ones, and they're yelling at the front door for their dinner. And at 6 o'clock, I'm there at the bench, and I'm trying to get all this food ready, and they're just yelling, and it drives me mental. So anyway, it's like this horrible sounding cat choir that goes on. I hate it. I wish they'd all fuck off, but no, I don't really. I love them. So cats in the bin at 6 o'clock. Cats in the bin. That's my bin.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I've got to say that our dogs, we've got one now, but generally speaking, our dogs have always known what time it is. So yes, it is a whole thing when it comes to having a pet. All right, Conrad, what are you putting in the bin this week?
I might have already done it previously, and if I have, I apologise. Those fees on top of fees on top of fees for concert tickets. Those stupid fucking other... It's like, fuck off. Can't you just make it one price? I don't mind if you bundle all those fees into the price, but don't then sting me for all these other fucking excessive fees, on top. It's annoying. Concert ticket ends up being another $10, $15 more, or pounds more than what it is.
Especially
it's
in
not
pounds.
Right. Fucking annoys me. Anyway, and London Underground, your fares, London Underground fares are just fucking insane. Cost me between £7 to £10 to come in and out of London each day. So it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It's insane. You can go to Frankston and back for $3 from Melbourne. From Melbourne on a concession card. That distance here would be National Rail. That'd be National Rail here, so not even Tube. So that's not the Underground. That'd be National Rail, and that'd cost about £60.
Fucking hell. That's bad.
Whoa.
So it's a big difference. So Transport for London's fucking fares can fuck off.
Well said, man, and I completely agree with that. That would hurt. That would bite deep.
It does.
Yeah. My bin, I did tease this at the very start of the episode tonight where I was talking about things that have been going on while I was editing and that. So I had some things I had to edit because we've got the 2-hour episode for Channel 31. We've got an extra hour on Halloween night, so Tuesday night, we've got an hour on Channel 44, and then our usual time slot again on Thursday night. So normally Adelaide only gets sort of 1 hour of the 2 hour episodes we do, but this time around they're going to get both because we get the extra hour this week. So to do that, to make that happen, I had to film little intro, outro kind of stuff just for the 2 different segments we're going to send off to Channel 44. So I filmed them. Because I'm in the setup, I've got the green screen works best for me at the moment as opposed to looking at a fucking tent behind me. And so the whole thing is just there. And so I set it up, I record it all, do all the stuff. It all looks good, looks great. Go to import it to my computer and there's no audio. What happens is, right, and this can go in the fucking bin. When you use the Instagram create part, which is what I was using on my phone because it's just easy to grab my phone, just set it up there and record as opposed to the whole fucking camera and all that sort of stuff. So I did that. But if you don't go to the next step where you actually boost the recorded camera audio, it suddenly saves with no audio at all. Now, for social media companies that pride themselves on X, Y, Z, to make the default to have no audio is mind-blowing to me. So make it so you don't turn it down, not turn it up, because that's just counterintuitive to me. So the whole thing about not having volume, no audio, because you've recorded the whole thing, you've done a whole piece to camera, you've done the bit, and then you go to export it and go across and there's no audio because Instagram decided ad hoc that that's the way they do it. Fuck off. Like, just in the bin. Like, for a simple thing, for people that want, for a network that wants ease of posting, right? I get that I could do the whole camera stuff, but the whole point is to make it easy, quick, fast, bang, 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 and get your social media content out there. To go through and have the audio lost because you didn't hit a fucking tab is just stupid to me. I don't understand how that's a thing. It can go in the bin. Made my life a lot harder than it needed to today because I was doing that today as well as getting this place fucking ready for the storm. So lots of fun. Lots and lots of fun. So that in the bin. Like I said, petty is good. The pettier, the better. Let's see. Adrian says, congratulations, Bella. You look amazing. So there we go.
Thank
Rowan,
you.
I think Bell did win deservingly tonight, so there we go. So Rowan says, Australian game prices are ridiculous. Yeah, you'd know a lot about that too, actually, with your world. Vinny says, likewise, Jeff, I'm a gamer at heart also, and there's nothing, like, seriously, the people that don't enjoy it, that's fine. Do you. Be happy. Don't fucking critique other people for what they do. Vinny says, Dave, I did discover this week the difference between a pickpocket and a peeping Tom. Is that a pickpocket snatches watches? Okay, here we go.
Oh.
Well done. Vinny.
Oh,
Nice.
Vinny, you are so awesome.
I like that one.
I love it.
Rowan says, finding out that Devin Townsend in Melbourne after it sold out in the bin. Yeah, that sucks because he's phenomenal live and in person. He is. Devin Townsend is one of a kind. He is a great dude.
Yeah.
That sucks, Rowan.
Yeah, that hurts. Michael says, in the bin, Dave goes check the Hoppers Sunday night, and the next time we see him, he is a vampire. So there we go.
I live a crazy life.
Well done, Michael. Well done.
That's a great call.
That is good. Adrian's gone. Bella's become the Catwoman. Tough. Good to see you, buddy. In the bin, the kind of cold weather that actually hurts you to breathe. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But he also says, loving the Halloween theme going on here too, which is nice. Thank you for enjoying that.
Nice.
Vinny says, Belle talking about pussy dressed like that. It's like Xmas has arrived early. So there we go.
Oh my God.
Vinny. Well, there we go.
Thanks, Vinny.
Tough says, what about in the bin being forced to join some brand just because you brought some shoes? I just want shoes, not to join like a Nike club. What the fuck is that all about? Mate, you should see here, there's now a rewards program for fucking Woolworths. Like the supermarket are doing members discounts, so go and get fucked. Yes. Michael says, Belle, Jolie just walked in. Hi, Belle. Hi, Belle. Hi, Jolie, sorry.
Hi, Jolie.
Walked in. He says, you look lovely. She says, you all look great. Yeah, well, I won't be a part of that one. I'll take myself out of the equation. You are very nice. Yes, no, Belle does look great tonight. She did win for a reason. And Tough says, I found Groove Street Metal. Thanks to you last metal show and your linky links. Thanks for that. You are most welcome. Whatever that rabbit hole takes you on, you find your music on. That is the joy and the fun and the reason for what we do here with what we do. But it is that time of night. We are going to get out of here unless there's anything that anyone else really wants to get into. Otherwise, we're going to call it a night and get out of here. All right.
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, on that note, we'll see you all again very, very soon. For our Patreon supporters, we'll see you on Sunday. But for the rest of you, we'll see you same time, place next week. Until then, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Bill.
I'm Conrad.
As always, folks, you know what to do. This will be interesting.
Drink up.
Rock on.
Drink up, rock on. We'll see you soon, folks.